This is, of course, the CTL Chobo Team League Season 24 Grand Finals between ScSwarm and Validity Gaming. I am joined by the one and only half man, half Nard, and we are ready to cast some amateur players kicking some butts.
Indeed. Now, this is a best of 7, essentially, right?
Yeah.
Essentially, yeah.
With a best of 3 final match if we get there.
That's it. So we are inside our first little match here between ScSwarm and Validity Gaming. It's been another long season for CTL. It feels like they have really long seasons. Because the last time we cast a final was like last year or something, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was a bit of a longer break, right? It feels like it's been so long since the last one that we did. So I'm not sure if that's normal or if that's just kind of like a bit of a longer delay. Obviously, things have been a bit disturbed in the LAN scene recently, but definitely it's been a little bit longer than we would have liked. But it's good to be back with another Grand Finals.
Yes, indeed. Well, in the top left here, we have got Pro Border from ScSwarm, represented by that tag, and in the bottom right, it is Cadet Joe from Team Validity. I think this is they usually start with a lower level div. So, I was explaining in chat, it's kind of like when you play club tennis. You got your Div 5 player, Div 4, 3, 2, and 1. With Div 1 being the highest level player, and each division plays each other from the other team. So, yeah.
So this would be the bottom match as we work our way up, right? So this would be like a gold league match usually. We kind of work our way through it. It's often split up by like say 1 or 2 tiers. Like sometimes it'll be like Diamond 2/3, and then there'll be like Diamond 1s playing and that sort of thing. And the best of 3 usually finishes with like a Diamond 1/Masters 2, Masters 3, I believe. I don't know if you can get Masters 1. Apparently this one is actually the Platinum match, according to chat. So maybe, I'm not sure if it's Platinum 3 or if there's just maybe everyone's been getting promoted out of Gold. We always talk about this every season. The players just get promoted too much, you know? Like,
yeah. Well, that's kind of the spiel, right? And kind of the positive thing well, I mean, there's a lot of things about Chobo Team Leagues. Team Leagues are fun anyway, but it motivates you when you're playing for a team, when you're playing for something other than yourself. You play a lot more games. And it motivates you to practice more as well, to focus a bit more on your practice, because you're trying to do something for someone else rather than just being, the you party starring you with special guest you, which is generally what 1v1 ladder is. So I feel like that drives you, at least that drives a lot of people to try a lot harder. And as a result, get more out of their practice and then just level up really quickly, especially when you're like a bronze, silver, gold player.
Well, it's like effortless improvement. When you're having fun and you're communicating with people, like it takes the pressure off. Everybody likes to improve. It's so much fun improving, right? It's great to see progress, but what's even better is when you're kind of just having fun doing your thing and improvement just happens. And that's what happens when you've got, friends to talk to. There's something different between losing a game to something frustrating and then stewing in your own juices and going, very salty, you just kind of get angry. Or hopping into your Discord chat and being like, dude, carriers are so ember. And blowing off a bit of steam. Your friend's like, dude, you think that's annoying? I just got wrecked by the dirtiest proxy reaper. And, there's just this sense of community where you feel less alone. You help each other out. You give each other advice. It's a lot easier to avoid going down that negative spiral of I don't know, snoot-esque self-criticism, I like to call it. I'm the worst player in the game. You're a literal champion. I'm the worst player in the game.
Personally, I like to do the streamer thing where I have, when I ladder, I play Terran, and I have a lot of people who are Terran watching me, and then proceed to just whine incessantly when I lose, and then be in a Terran echo chamber when all I have to give me feedback are other Terrans that also are upset at the video game. So that's where I like to be, and I find that the healthiest way to respond.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always nice, when the chat just kind of is there, ready with your back. Sometimes you forget to bring your excuses to your StarCraft match, but hopefully Twitch chat is there, or your clan mates to help you out. Like, don't worry, buddy, their race is Imber. But anyways, this is a good one. So economic opening for Cadet Cho, but with safety tanks. So I like it. It's kind of like, hey, look, I'm going to play super greedy kind of here, but I'm building, a safety tank, I guess I should say. No second tank queuing up. 1 tank is good, but is it enough? Because there's quite a few roaches coming out. There's 3 gases, which means they're all going to be turning into ravagers. And there is an overlord on the high ground. And what is there to actually get rid of that, right? There's a medevac coming out, but there's not really anything the Medevac's going to sync up with. Another tank does start, but no bunker, no scouting for Cadet Cho. So I just worry that that Overlord just pops down, ravages by all the tank, and it's going to be, hey, one siege tank standing between an army of Zerg and Terran Death.
Indeed. I mean, we haven't seen any Ravages just yet. We're actually seeing Pro Border really just rest on that R key and use the rest of his minerals on the Lings. But he is going to have like a 400 gas bank, so you're right. These should be Ravages. Hopefully they morph here behind the rocks before they come on in. They have that little bit extra speed. Going to make sure that we also have the... there we go. There's those Ravages. So they're on the way. And yeah, you're right. You know, Cadet Cho is going for a very blind build order. This is probably what he just likes to do in this matchup. But Pro Board is kind of playing the map a little bit more, and as a result, I feel like that's going to give him an edge here. Like, I'm with you. Cadet Cho does not look very prepared, and he just opened his natural. Oh no, the third flying out,
and he cancelled his second siege tank. I mean, he started a third one now, but it's actually the second one because he cancelled his second one to make something else. I think it was to get Stim and 1-1. Oh no! I mean, he does get a wall to buy a few seconds a time. There's no high ground vision for Pro Border. If those Marines can kill that Overlord, Cadet Cho, you got to get rid of that Overlord or you're done. The Marines are taking out a few Ravages. That's not bad, but that tank on the high ground is gone. The other tank getting some big damage. The Stim Marines are doing all right, but the SCVs have got to pull the Marines too far up front. The SCVs needed to pull in front to buffer. Once the Marines are gone, there's just no damage output left. I don't know. What can you possibly do as Cadet Cho? Oh, looks like just going to get rolled.
Yeah, that's unfortunately how TVZ can be sometimes. I feel like, especially on Submarine, and especially when you aren't keeping up with that scouting, keeping the Reaper alive, and keeping tabs on what your Zerg is up to. The rain has been busted, and when those Lings are on top of production, it's going to be lights out here for Cadet Cho, unfortunately.
Yeah, this sort of build order, you know, I do like it from Cadet Cho. It's just that single medevac. I think if that was replaced with like a Viking or something that was out on the map, getting some information, getting some pre-warning, and maybe if those SCVs on the natural pulled in front, if those Marines pull back, 8 Stim Marines is a lot of firepower. And remember, look, all the Ravages went down, so it really was just 2 Ravages and a pack of Zerglings left. And SCV is such a good tanking unit. But that's the thing. Those early stages, dude, you're so vulnerable. You're so vulnerable as a Terran. You got this glass cannon army, and that's why it's so important to pull SCVs at the right time, right? Like, I think that's like one of the most underestimated things. I remember just going over that in like excruciating detail in one of my old Welcome to StarCraft videos, where I was like, here's the fight where the workers pull before your units die, and you actually have damage up. When the workers are like, just amazing tanking units. And then you just like, you pull workers afterwards. They just do nothing if they don't have damage output behind them. And it's just this crazy thing when there's a big old wild attack like that. But you know what? That's ScSwarm in style, coming out with just a clean timing attack, makes it look like a normal 3-base opening, and then goes into a delayed Ravagerling. Good way to steal map number 1. Well played, Pro Border.
Yeah, there definitely are a couple of builds. I feel like especially in ZVP right now that are just really powerful, normal-looking 3-base openers that turn into a giant flood of units. Like that 19, 20 drone Ling Flood thing in ZVP that a lot of pros are doing. That's so easy to copy, by the way, if you're one of these show-league players and you struggle against Protoss. You know what you can do? You know what the best way to kill Protoss is? You don't let them get to anything that's scary by just flooding them with units.
You punch them in the face.
That's right, yeah. If you're ever in a street fight, like there are no rules, guys, in a street fight. You just punch them in the throat and run away. And there you go. That's the in-game equivalent.
Yep, I remember getting like self-defense lessons as like well, not really self-defense lessons, but the wisdom, like my mom would always be like, look, if a crazy dude tries to grab you, it's like kick him in the groin and run away, bite him in the, bite his arm, run away. Like these were like the lessons I got as a young child. If a strange man tries to grab you, it's so funny thinking back. When I'm like 5 years old, my mom's like, you fucking just punch him right in the balls. And I was like, okay, mom.
Yep. She ain't wrong. She ain't wrong.
All right, so a bit of background here as we go into map number 2. Up here in the top right, ScSwarm's Laminar. Down here in the bottom left, representing Validity Gaming, it is Sleep. And it is going to be a Zerg versus Terran once again. So let's do a little bit of background, first of all, on Validity. They were founded in May 1st, 2017. So that is what? Just coming up in 3.5 years now that they've been around. And they like to describe themselves as a welcoming community of good-natured oddballs, which, of course, as we know on the internet, is basically a way of justifying an incel culture. No worries. Yeah. Oh, oddballs, yes, sure.
I was about to say that sounds like my Twitch community, but then you said an incel culture, and I'm like, there's not too many incels at Twitch community. I'm sure there's a few out there, but they're at least quiet about it. And a little bit of background on Laminar as well. He's an engineering student. Just started playing StarCraft 2 actually this year in May. As something to do during the COVID, during the new normal. And already starting to rank up a little bit, young Laminar.
Damn, that's pretty quick improvement. That's very nice. This is awesome. I absolutely love that there's all these new teams, and it's often the new players who are the ones who are super keen to get into it. Both Cadet Cho and Sleep, by the way, actually advanced from Platinum 3 to Diamond 3. So that both of these guys progressed during the course of the season towards the end of it. A whole bunch of the Validity players all promoted during the season as well, which is really cool and very common. So back we were saying, hey, it seems like a longer time. It is now a 10-week season for CTL, and every team plays every other team twice now. Wow. Is what the chat let us know. So that's actually awesome. They've given it just this really like, hey, all right, you surprise us once, we'll get you the next time. You know, there's a bit more adapting to the same team. Hey, these guys cheesed us last time. Let's be ready for it next time. That sort of stuff. And I always love that. I think it's really cool. Adds a little bit of something. For now, these two Zerglings down the left-hand side of the map look like they're just scouting for now. Nothing too major. And it looks like pretty straightforward openings. I mean, Sleep's going to go for that third base. Looking at this, a single Hellion building for Laminar. Might be seeing like a little quick Marine drop if that factory doesn't swap over.
Yeah, I was thinking that. It kind of almost looks like a TVP opener with just a handful of Marines and like a Hellion, but it is a little strange for sure. And also, I was watching that Reaper. It took a little bit to get across the map, but it is flying across the map now. It's going to confirm that third base and then swing on back. Now, I really like to keep that Reaper near the third, not around this natural area in Eternal Empire, because of that's really easy for Zerg to deflect you from. But the third base, you can hop up into the main, like over here, obviously, and keep an eye on the tech. Like that Reaper really needs to be periodically checking what's happening. You don't want another attack like what happened last game on Submarine. However, it is Eternal Empire, so like a big Ling Roach Flood is a little bit unlikely, I suppose.
You know, it's so funny. We're so used to just saying, well, you have to go reacted Hellions, right? But the thing is, if you don't micro those Hellions well, you can just get killed by so much stuff, right? So I kind of like this idea of like, hey, well, I still have Hellions, which will defend like a big Ling Flood and stuff. It still could be micro to defend Banelings and stuff. But you just have more Marines coming out. You get a full bunker earlier. So in terms of comfort and safety, there's something to be said for this. Sometimes we get so stuck in, no, you got to do this way of playing. It's like, hey, wait a second. Yeah, you're not able to pressure as quick and hard, but since we've seen so many people sitting back with their Hellions, even off reactor openings lately, you know, does it change that much? Not necessarily. It's a very safe opening. I think the one thing we're noticing, though, I was about to say, is this very quick third and fourth gas, a fusion core, and a second starport. So this is Banshee into 2-port BC. This is going to be very... Or you don't need fusion core for hyperflight rotors anymore, do you? So is it going to be... two Banshees into battle cruisers? It's like almost like a fake out. Just, oh, I'm going Banshees. So. That's so cool.
I actually think so, because you know, you mentioned the gas count. That's like too much gas for Banshees, actually. Like even if you get hyperflight rotors, cloak, and build Banshees from 2 starports, I still feel like that's too much gas income at this point. He's mining so much.
Oh yeah, and the swapperoo is happening. Yeah, it's gonna hit 300 gas. This is a well timed out build. Just over 300 gas and just about to hit 400 minerals as that second port lands. Bam. Yeah, this is a very tight build. Laminar's ironed this out. That's
I love it. I've seen 2-port BC before, but at high level, of course. Like, you know, I've seen Inno do it at GSL. But, you know, it is one of those builds that easier to do. And I feel like, you know, again, like for a shout out for the Chobos out there in the Chobo Team League, but anyone that's having trouble in this matchup, this is really one of those, gotcha build orders that's not too hard to do and is super deadly if the Zerg isn't on top of scouting.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's nightmare scenarios where you're doing this and, like, the other guy's going 2-base muter and just has, like, 14 muters when your 2 BCs teleport in and you're like, oh, okay, this is not good. Or even worse, they spot it and they go corruptors and you're like, oh, I'm just dead.
I think maybe one thing that's a bit of a tell here for the Zerg is that there's been no Laminar this whole game. Like normally at this point, the Hellions would be poking the third base, the Banshee would be harassing, but the Hellions are at home, the Banshee's still at home, and that Reaper's been on the watchtowers and scouting the third base. So there's been a solid 4 minutes of inactivity from the Terran here, and that might freak the Zerg out a little bit, cause them to lock things down. We're also seeing mech behind this. I love that
the Reaper can just see everything. Yeah, running back and forth on this map. Now, I was going to say, oh, double battle cruisers going in. Never mind. No spores down at all right now. And there is only 4 queens, 38 zerglings, 3 roaches. There is 0 preparation for this. Oh, Sleep here was going straight to 8 gases, a giant worker count, massive ground army. Oh, really, just perfect setup for the Zerg against everything that's not this. If this was any other ground-based play, this would be an awesome build from Sleep. But as it is, Laminar comes in with a big surprise. Now, it does need to go after those workers, and preferably that Spire. You get the Spire, and there's no way Sleep ever gets on top of this. So I think it should just be game here. 2 very quick games to, to start things off most likely. We might see a desperate Bane bust on the other side, but there's a Banshee, a full bunker, and 4 Hellions behind that wall. So as much as I think Sleep's going to go for the desperate counterattack, I think it's not going to be able to pull anything back.
Yeah, and the Baneling Nest is here, though. Sleep just hotkeyed it. He just morphed himself a bunch of Banelings. This third CC is, unlikely to do anything for Laminar, except to scout the fact that there is a bust coming. So he's going to lock things down back at home. He knows he just needs to survive. He's done so much damage. I really do wish, and I'm with you, that those BCs were target firing down that Spire, because Laminar could squeeze out a few Corruptors here and annoy these BCs. But I gotta say, this already looks really rough for the Zerg if we, if we're real with you.
Yeah, it's a pretty sad Bane bust. The Lings are going to manage to kill the bunkers and the Hellions, and then all be dead. And at home, there is 7 more drones trying to rebuild. But those battle cruisers are having a party, dude. They've got 40 plus kills between them, about 44, 45 kills. BC at home's killing this last bunch of Roaches and Lings, and Sleep here just caught off. No Overseer Scout, I think, was the real kicker, right? If Sleep had sent an Overseer in, even 20, 30 seconds of warning, build around a Queens, get the Spire started, get a few spores up, you absolutely have an ability to hang on there and buy some time. And, the economy was great for Sleep. It was just one of those things where I was like, hey, where's the ground army? I'm going to build some Lings. I'll build some Roaches for safety. I'll get Banelings. I'll get 1/1 upgrades. None of those things shoot up, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, Corruptors are on the way here, but so are Thors back at home. Laminar did take a hit to his economy, of course, and he is still dealing with Roaches, but the tank's going to get rid of the last few. And he does have 3 CC, he does have Mules, and the Zerg is trying to drone while still having 3 VCs ravage whatever remains from the Zerg's infrastructure back at home. The main is dead, that's the lair. The lair has not been remade. In fact, the spawning pool hasn't been remade. So a lot of stuff is not looking good at the moment to Sleep, to say the least. Yeah. Even though he is still technically alive and there's ahead 20 workers, there's a lot more to the story here, unfortunately, for Sleep, as he wished that worker count meant that he was still in this game, but it does not look good.
Hey, 1 BC died. That's This is the point where in Sleep's shoes, I count that as a victory. I go to BC. There's, it's you're losing the game. You're like, let's just get 1 good burrowed Baneling or 1 good disruptor shot or something like that. Hey,
Laminar. There we go. Tactical Yump was off cooldown on all 3 of those BCs. Actually, no, 2 of them, not the 3rd one, because that came in a little bit later. But yeah, it's unfortunately he lost those, but still, I would just say that the Terran is in a monstrous location. He's looking so good.
So Laminar, by the way, sorry guys, we didn't get a chance to go through these games. Have been kicking off so hard and fast. Laminar is actually her. That's a she. It's our bad. Always defaulting to assuming everybody is a boy, but
there are girls on the internet. Oh my god, I'm sorry.
That's it. Yep. And Sleep here is I like Sleep's a bit dogged. I like when someone hangs in. This is the grand finals. You don't just give up easily. But I think Laminar's got a big smile on her face as she Yamatos Mutas and Corruptors, because this is one of the funnest ways to kill Zerg, is just running BCs around their base. Oh, teleports onto the 3rd base. That was a funny teleport. I'm not sure if that was a misclick or not. I was like, hey, where are they going? I was looking on the other side of the map and they just teleported half a screen down. But what are you building? 8 Mutas. You got 2 Corruptors. Building another one. I mean, Sleep's doing a good job to keep the economy up here. No, you wouldn't be able to come back. If Laminar just goes across with everything, there's no chance. But remember, sometimes we accidentally give Zerg a bit too much time and they recover. This BC goes in, it's doing good drone damage, but not for long. The Mutas and Corruptors are there.
Yeah, 4 drones going down is definitely not worth a BC. Even though Laminar's got herself a pretty lovely spot, you keep throwing BCs away like this, they are about as far away from free as possible in StarCraft 2. They're a huge number of supply. There's 700 resources, and they take 1,000 years to build. So Laminar going across the map earlier would have absolutely sealed this deal. But as it stands, she keeps throwing away stuff. There is definitely a world where Sleep comes back. But I would still, even after all of that, say that I love Laminar's position, even after the few mistakes she's made.
Yeah, Laminar should have this in the bag. It's like, well, there is now a fraction of a chance. It's still a small fraction. The fact that there's 4 command centers, especially if these mules start dropping, there's a bit of chaos. Like, that's what Sleep's doing a good job. It's like causing chaos, causing distraction, and droning behind it, which is great. But as long as Laminar, you can see mules are starting to drop. As long as some of these idle SCVs, if you go to Laminar's camp, there's quite a few idle workers, and some have been pulled off the gases. But once they get back on, you've got Thors for anti-air, you've got tanks on the ground and Hellbats, which are going to be hard to deal with. It is one of those things where I feel like just a few Cyclones joining up with the battle cruisers would be insane as well, or I guess because there's Muta's Widow Mines maybe. As it is, a few SCVs going down, but every air unit that dies is also very valuable for Sleep. Sleep has to kind of make some huge big brain choices here, because you're like, oh, is that a 4th command center about to land? Oh no, I can't let that happen. But at the same time, what are you going to do? You're making mass roaches behind this. You've forgotten to make roach speed as Sleep because you're trying desperately to tear your way back into this game. And without roach speed, those roaches aren't going to do anything to the ground army.
Yeah, Laminar's cleaning up these last couple of Corruptors, which are, you know, a bit of a threat to the BC, certainly more so than the Mutas. That 4th is getting quite low. SCV's being pulled en masse, actually, to repair this thing. It's going to survive.
That was just a bait. Command center bait. It's like, oh my God, a fragile command center. Please don't hit me, Mr. Mutalisk. Oh, no. It was all a bait. They were like, we're going to get it. They stay there. They all end up going down. Now, roach speed being forgotten. This is going to be tragic. Because I actually look at this and I'm like, you know what? A big roach army clears the ground. There's only 2 BCs left in the skies. It's totally doable, especially with Roach Bane. And I guess it still technically is Roach speed starts up, Bane speed starts up. And these are the important upgrades. Sleep is actually putting themselves in a position. There is absolutely comeback potential, you know. And this is not me going, oh, Laminar, you know, probably not as experienced being a platinum player, you know. No. I've thrown games from better positions than this. Like, I'm very good at throwing games as mech. It's one of my specialties. So that's why I've got a lot of fear right now watching from the Terran viewpoint.
There's actually been more times than I can count, and embarrassing to admit, but for all you guys out there that play TVZ at not professional level, I'm sure you'll relate. There's been a lot of times where I've opened with a 2-1-1, killed the 3rd base of the Zerg. I'm on 3 bases against the 2 base Zerg, and I've lost. Like, it's happened more than once. Where are these guys going? Ooh, a bit of a misclick on that tactical jump right over to the extra gas there.
That's a Chad jump. It's combat exercises, Maynard. Combat exercises.
That's a flex. That's like saying, I don't need this ability. My BCs are going to just win this game regardless.
Well, this is good counterattacks. Roaches and Banes are gonna ravage the natural. Other units are gonna jump on the base at the top. And the thing is, Sleep's got this big army that can perform incredibly well. If those Banelings get clicked into the center of the Hellbats, the tanks aren't sieged. Those Hellbats, if they get caught, and then the Roaches get on top, they don't have Roach speed yet. There's no Ravagers. A good pullback on the Roaches. Meanwhile, the Roach Baneling just chilling next to the rocks, missing a big opportunity. Sleep. Oh no, the right-hand side could be doing massive, catastrophic damage right now, but instead is kind of just sitting in vision. Thankfully, though, Laminar did not notice a few Roaches on the top are going to go down as well.
Yeah.
But the rally gets intercepted, and this is where some big damage potential happens.
Oh no, these SCVs definitely don't want a piece of this. They're going to get out of there.
The top left. I think the whole army accidentally clicked through the tanks, Maynard.
Oh no, that was an F2, I think.
Yep.
I think that might have been a big 1A there.
Oh my God. So as the SCV damage comes in, Sleep accidentally throws away the big Ravager army, the expensive army. And it's kind of like, hey, is this a bit of a wash in this little trade? I'm not really sure. You've still got a very good army for Laminar. Laminar's economy, though, does not have the survivability. So it's looking more and more like a game where I actually still think Laminar's in a good spot, but the upgrades are a problem. There are no upgrades except +1 vehicle weapons, and whilst it is still a low-tier Zerg army, it's an 80-worker low-tier Zerg army. And for Laminar, you've got this great army that's building, and you can still win with very weak upgrades, but I think the tank count is everything, right? So I think this is a game where Laminar actually needs to just start leaving tanks around the bases, build that tank count, because Roaches, Ravagers, Banelings, it's all about just having enough tank siege to deal with it. The thing is, that takes away your kill timing where your advantages can work, and there are still quite a few SCVs idling across these bases. So any more run-bys like that Sleep does, I think this is just going to kind of put Laminar further behind the mark on catching up with the macro, remembering things like the upgrades, and we might actually see Sleep make an insane recovery. Remember, 57 workers died at the start of this game. 57 of those drones. That's insane.
And 54 SCVs have died since recovering from that. Like, Sleep has recovered. He's actually looking good again. So You know, Laminar has been definitely sort of like the flow has been messed with, the plan's been messed with. A big Ravager attack here at the 4th base, which is, again, like actually not a planetary, which we haven't addressed. Like the 4th not being a planetary is devastating for you as a Terran. You can't split your defense, especially as a mech player like this. Sleep coming up on top of this 4th base, he's going to bile it down without too much of a hassle.
The units are going to come and try and save that. These Ravagers, there's a big army on the right-hand side of Zerglings ready to do a run by Sleep here. Doing the 1-2, distracts on the left, pulls back and says distraction. The Planetary and the tank whittle it down a little, but the depot doesn't get raised. They're inside the main.
This is terrible for Laminar. She doesn't have a lot of reacted factories either. Also, when you're going mech, you want 2 reacted factories, 3 tech lab generally, so you can keep up that Hellion production, because stuff like this can happen. A lot of Lings can always mess with you like this. And they've got two upgrades as well. They're hitting very hard.
It's lovely tactics from Sleep. Honestly, it's good 1-2 punching. And honestly, I talk about how even in GM games, there is always more room for comebacks than we give it credit for, right? We're always like, oh, no, I was dead at this point. Oh, like when we analyze games. But this game just showed the power of the comeback, really. Sleep is worked their way back. It's not over by any means. +1 armor's on the way. It's a mech army. As much as mech, it's like, but you're kind of drowning economically, or as Laminar's still got 50 workers. I think one of the biggest problems is the SCVs continually being misclicked. In that 3rd base, 20 SCVs have all been told to follow one SCV that's mining. So I don't know if you ever did work experience back when you guys were in school, but somehow this guy's dad has 20 of his kids' friends all following him to work to learn what it's like to be a McDonald's manager. And it's insane. They're like, oh, so that's how you fry the chips? This is really interesting. They're not lifting a finger. They're just watching.
Yeah, so there's 59 SCVs in total for Laminar, but very likely only 30 or 40 are mining. So that's, as a result, that's a huge difference in income. The Zerg out mining by, we're seeing a little, maybe like an extra 20% mining on minerals, but like 4 times the mining of gas. And you're trying to go mech here against a guy that's just spamming Ravagers. In come the Biles here. Goodbye 4th base. The battle cruisers obviously have a lot of utility here. But the Biles are still blanketing this army, and even the BCs feel like they're unsafe at this point. The tanks being prioritized.
Is the command center going to survive?
Oh my god!
Oh my! Repair, Laminar, please.
Oh no!
I'm a big fan of the Lamington, and I'm a big fan of Laminar's double battlecruiser surprise opening there. But please, 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 for the love of God, repair has found those SCVs. Oh no! It's no! 30 hit points! No!
Oh, Laminar, I'm so sorry. Laminar, I'm so sorry. Oh, God. Oh, it's dead.
Oh, that's a big hit.
Hurts.
And look, because the Lings are being queued into the main at the same time. Even though that tank and planetary are such a good position, Laminar needs to build another depot to wall that off. And without that, we're seeing Sleep here. Honestly, what we're seeing is like just dogged determination, right? There are so many times you're in a situation in a game where it's so easy to give up. And I think one of the greatest things is always the grit and determination. If Sleep was a streamer and Sleep makes this comeback, Sleep would finish the game, go, oh my god, I can't believe I won that game. And there'd be one guy in chat going, yeah, your opponent kind of made some mistakes, like it's not even that impressive. Are you kidding me? Oh. Sleep has dug so deep to make this comeback and to actually get in the lead here. Is constantly expanding down the right-hand side, spamming upgrades, 90 workers. The rhythm that Sleep has found in a chaotic situation, that is one of the most difficult things, because nothing is repeated, nothing is practiced. When you're in that situation, you're droning and expanding, you're running Mutas Corruptors around bases to buy time, you're swapping into Roach Baneling while single battle cruisers are teleporting in. That's one of the hardest things to just kind of prioritize and be decisive and choose what to do. I mean, yes, there's a few times 20 Banelings roll into a Thor and don't kill it, but for the most part, the thing is Sleep is doing a lot of things that are right. A lot of people in these situations, they tunnel vision on the 1 or 2 little mistakes they're making, but Sleep is doing so much, you can miss a few of these opportunities because so many are landing.
And absolutely has clawed back here. Like, Laminar, I know how this feels. It's a frustrating loss by the looks of things here for Laminar. She's just starting to lose control of this game. That one planetary that is the static defense in the natural going to be biled down. There's 18 Ravagers there. A few of them have been thinned out, but now they're in the natural. And once again, the natural and the main have been a weakness, a crack in the armor of Laminar's infrastructure that the Zerg has identified and capitalized on multiple times in this game. And with the 4th base just being an orbital, you can't really hold on there. It's just stretched way too thin, and it looks like Sleep's just going to continue to rally and just seal this deal, coming back from an incredible deficit of, what would you say, 57 drone kills?
Yeah,
And
it was
coming back
insane.
from there. Yeah.
You know, it's such a shame that Spire didn't get sniped early, right? Because like the hatchery, the spawning pool were getting killed in the main and stuff like that. Drones were getting killed. Because it's like there's two things, and I know because I have done a lot of battlecruiser cheeky rushes recently. It's kind of my go-to when I'm playing someone much better than me, where I'm like, ooh, let's try and surprise with some cheeky BCs. And I love the build, but I often lose the game in the same way, where they either rebuild a Spire somewhere else that I don't quite catch, and I'm like, this is in the bag, this is in the bag. Bam, the Corruptors come out and just barely defend. Bam, that big Ravager Ling counter attack kills too many SCVs, and Sleep here dug deep. I think Sleep expanding so well early and realizing, yes, I've got nothing that shoots up, but I've got a lot of bases, a lot of production. I can distract with the ground army. I can run the drones away, try to build up that response. And I mean, there's a point, there's 3 BCs in your base. You've got a Spire finishing 200 minerals. Most players would give up, but Sleep dug deep and showed the power of the comeback. Hot diddly damn. We almost called that at 5 minutes.
Yeah, no, it's one of those situations that you are not used to seeing people come back from. But at this sort of like, I call it the people's StarCraft, you know, when you're one of the 99%, those StarCraft games, they ain't over till they're over. Like, it doesn't look good, but it ain't over till it's over, because things can happen. Your opponent can make mistakes. You can see that Laminar really had the reins on that game until Sleep started to hit back. And then all of a sudden, Laminar was like, oh, this run by is happening. My Sense Tower isn't quite in the right spot. My 4th base isn't a planetary. I don't have the add-ons necessary to make the necessary units to deal with what I'm dealing with. You've also been very, very passive in the game, which allowed the Zerg to get back up. You know, that really early 4th base from Sleep that we thought was like a kind of, you know, one of the reasons why Sleep was going to lose that game initially, ended up being a bit of a saving grace, having an extra bit of mining there that Laminar did not know about. I feel like the entire game, like after the beginning of the game with the BCs, Laminar did not leave her side of the map. I feel like a few extra things, like maybe like camera hotkeys, managing the economy a little bit better, managing the production a little bit better, and Laminar would destroy Sleep in a rematch.
Indeed. Chat pointing out I'm trying not to laugh. Just reading some funny comments in chat, guys. People going, what? I just got back. I thought this game was over. Sort of stuff. Just, yeah, an entertaining game there. And I mean, that's awesome. It ties up the series. We were thinking, oh, a quick 2-0 lead. Oh, no. But yeah, that ties things up, right? I'm not getting the scoreboard wrong, am I? I'm pretty sure that's right. Sometimes I do that thing where I mind game myself. But over here on the right, representing ScSwarm, it is Vivictus.
Vivictus is going for the cannon rush here against Nevermind, the far left here from Valid Gaming.
Oh, well, you better mind Nevermind. That's an early probe. I see a probe that early. I always pull a drone. Let's see. Oh my god, Nevermind just pulled 6 drones. Oh, yeah, there's so many drones being pulled. There's no way. Vivictus, how good is the follow-up plan? How good is the follow-up plan? We're about to find out, because you got a lot of drones on you. No transition yet. Uh-oh, that first probe's gonna die. Second one, though, gets up a gateway, cannon, pylon. It's got the wall off. Very nicely done. All that probe needs to do now is survive. This position is strong, but that probe's got to get out of there. And right now he's got a whole lot of randy drones chasing after him. They want some action. And oh my god, they're even going to try to break through. Nevermind's actually going to try and break through. Another pylon on the high ground to power the cannon. Very important. Needs to pull another probe. Another one is on the way, because I think that probe in the main is probably going to die. Notice it hasn't been queued to run very far. Citizen's arrest. Nevermind takes it down in a moment.
It is still on the chase here. It's about to get some shields back for it to survive another nibble. The cannon here for the... drones moving to intercept, but they swing past. The probe survives. Oh, man, this once again looked like it was being handled there by Nevermind with a huge drone pull. But Vivictus keeps the probe alive. There's a second one joining in now. And was going to queue up a Zealot, but is feeling confident. Maybe going to go for a Cybercore. Yes, the Cybercore starts back at home.
I didn't realize that these drones are actually wearing the miscellaneous European terrorist skin. And in fact, that Reddit point probe is Bruce Willis, 3/4 of the way through Die Hard. He's got like bloody rags tied around his feet. He's breathing hard, and he's basically said, ho, 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 now I've got a machine cannon. And Hans Gruber Zerg is not very happy about this, man. I mean, the pool is only halfway done. This was one of those things. If you pull that many drones, you've got to defend. You've got to be able to hold it off. Drones being pulled, but that cannon's in range. And behind this, the probing's going. There's a Cybercore up. I mean, a Robo could be built inside the main base of this Zerg. And the sporting pool hasn't even finished. This was a very well-executed rush by Vivictus. You know, Nevermind just was not blocking that most dangerous wall-off spot, and that is one of the biggest things with the cannon rush. There's always always with each pylon one or two really nasty areas where if you don't block, another probe can come in and throw down a brutal cannon rush.
Yeah, this is the Yippee-ki-yay build here. The natural is dead. The main is under siege. One of the two gases that were taken there, you can see that Nevermind's intention here is to go for a Roach follow-up or something like that. But delaying the spawning pool for this long and just not being able to get rid of those probes does mean that very likely Vayvictus is going to be able to run away with this one. But again, like, you can't call it till it's over. The Roach Warren is halfway done. There are Spine Crawlers here. The Zerg's on one base. There is a little bit of slowling counterattack on the outside of the map. Vayvictus may be taking the top right here, maybe with that probe. It seems like Vayvictus is scouting around just to try and dot the I's and cross the T's and make this one and done.
Check for no proxy hatch is a good idea. The Spine Crawler comes through, but it already loses 1/3 of its hit points by the time it roots, and the Stalker, of course, looking good. There's a second gateway on the way on the front as well. The cannon went down in time at home, so even though the core and the forge takes some damage, that cannon will clear all those Zerglings with time to spare, and shield battery runs out of juice, but the Stalker there, relatively healthy as it takes down that spine. There we go.
And there we go. And boom goes the dynamite. Now the drones are exposed here. Nevermind still has some slowlings and another spine crawler, but now the drones have denied a little bit of mining from a few of these patches. Nevermind's never really been able to get to a convincing drone count. Like, if you're trying to go one base here against a Protoss and you've only got 15 drones, you better hope that Protoss doesn't have anywhere near 24 workers, which unfortunately is the case with Vayvictus. Could be mining from 2 gases right now and going up into higher tier tech, but we are just seeing gateways kind of win this one.
Pretty sure I just saw the cannon shoot the Stalker there for a moment. Vayvictus getting a little bit antsy, I think, a bit excited, feels the adrenaline pumping, sensing that victory is within grasp right now. 4 Stalkers with 3 shield batteries. This is an absolute nightmare of a Zerg player. Zerg players wake up with cold sweats in the middle of the night dreaming about this situation. And yeah, 1 Roach, 1 Spine. I guess there's 2 more Roaches and a Queen behind that, but this Spine's already almost dead. And remember, those shield batteries keep regenerating energy. Every second that goes by, it's like, oh, no, this position just gets stronger. There's 6 Stalkers. Yeah.
There's enough Stalkers that even without the shield battery, it feels like they could just win this game at this point. There's only 3 Roaches, there's only 1 Queen, and drones remaining. You know, Ling Speed's on the way, but precisely 4 Lings, and they're on the other side of the map. Like, there is not really anything that I can talk about for Nevermind that's going well at this point, unfortunately.
Yeah, manages to damage 1 Stalker, and that's about the biggest achievement we'll see towards the end of this. I mean, it was a pretty good defense, but just that second probe coming in and getting that lovely little gateway cannon, just little sectioned wall off with the pylon. And it's one of those things as well where what happened was then the cannon finished and the drones all kind of bugged out. I think they were on an attack move, and they started trying to go for the cannon, but they couldn't get to it. They kind of freaked the heck out, unfortunately. But yeah, that is a very nice win for Vayvictus, who does take the 2-1 lead there for ScSwarm. And a couple of
undefeated, actually. Just looking at this, at the schedule so far for Vayvictus is 4-0 in regular season and 2-0 at the moment in playoffs. Now 3-0, I suppose. Damn.
Yeah.
a sophomore pre-med student in the US, a history nerd. The favorite part about ScSwarm, team bonding as we prep and strategize for matches. And the end guy, yeah, Vayvictus, I remember that. I've met a few people called Vayvictus over my time. It's a very edgy thing to call yourself in Latin. Woe to the vanquished. Seen that a few times.
Indeed.
Nice.
Indeed. All right. Well, guys, thank you very much for hanging with us. We will be hopping into the next game in just a sec. Let's get that countdown going. And yeah, awesome to hear. So bit of background, by the way, guys. Validity, this is their second attempt at the CTL finals. So season 19 was when they were in the finals, when they came second to ScSwarm. So Validity Gaming, very hungry here to get this next one. I believe it is Validity 2-1 now, right? Or was that ScSwarm?
ScSwarm 2-1.
ScSwarm 2-1.
Yeah, ScSwarm's been the purple players, and Validity Gaming's been red so far.
All right. I like it. There's so many non-Zergs on ScSwarm these days. What is going on? They used to be almost all Zerg. Such a varied team. It should be SC everyone. Yeah, SC everyone. ScSwarm.
I remember when they were just a Zerg stack. I remember that.
Yeah, it's like there's, the beastie, the cutie club is always like, oh yes, we have 1 token non-Terran back in the day. ScSwarm would have 1 token non-Zerg, and it was like always this funny thing. But cool to see some variety up here in the top right. In the purple, the Protoss, it is Hunter for ScSwarm. Wants to take that to the 3-1 lead. Down here in the bottom left, it is the red Terran, Validity Gaming's average dude. And of course, let's do a bit of a shout out about the league for people tuning in going, what the heck's a Chobo Team League? What's a Chobo? So for those who don't
Where's
know.
Cyril? Where's Clem?
Well, you guys, what you don't realize is that because of the restrictive and rather arbitrary and in my opinion atrocious laws in the EU, we actually aren't allowed to saddle Cyril and ride him in races. But we are allowed to do Chobobo racing for those who are Final Fantasy fans. So we're allowed to grab these guys off the ladder and basically strap saddles on them and just rampantly gamble. We treat them like shit. We occasionally drug them, try to poison the opposing one's feed, that sort of thing. But there's nothing like a bit of Chobo racing. So get your gambling in there in chat. We only take 40% of the profits of those. And I'm definitely not making shit up out of my ass right now. But basically, this is an amateur league, guys. It's for people platinum through masters. Every team, like we said, if you're plat, you match against plat, diamond against diamond. People go, I don't have time to play. Guess what? You match the opponent with you plan it and schedule it with your opponent. And when they are cast, like this one, this finals, we're casted off replays because there's a lot of busy people, of course, different time zones around the world. So this is a team league which is designed for people who are literal functioning adults to play. People are like, oh, I can't join a clan.
Yeah.
I don't have time to role play and pretend to be an orc chieftain or something. I'm like, no. Like, this is, what are you talking about? This is the same thing as like playing a game of football one night a week. Like, it's not that hard.
The people that say that are actually the people that do role play as orc chieftains because they log into WoW for 4 hours and say they don't have enough time for StarCraft. Just looking for excuses. Chobo Team League is exactly made for the people that actually want to play StarCraft and actually want to have time to be able to do it. This is specifically made for you. If you are one of those people that love your StarCraft, you want to play it, but you're like, oh, I'm a family person, or I'm busy at home, or I don't have a whole lot of free time. This is specifically made for you.
Yeah. And as we said, you go up the ranks and that's fine. You can move up to competing in the next slot for your team. Obviously, you do need to join a team to do it. Sometimes, I believe we sometimes get people just forming a new clan of a bunch of people, after seeing one of these casts. But there's a bunch of people in chat who are part of different teams throughout the league. So if you guys are interested in joining, ask in chat. We've got Magood saying, hey, how do I join it? I'm super curious. So if some of those team leaders, organizers, and admins like Crispy Bacon of the CTL there in chat, who was nice enough to hook us up with this lovely replay pack and all the backstory and info and the team managers, let them know, guys. Get recruiting in chat. If you guys are curious about it, it's not a huge commitment. Like I said, it's the same thing when people are too afraid to join my clan. And I'm like, are you guys serious? There's literally no requirements other than having fun playing StarCraft and being part of a community. If you want to play a team league like this, that's great. There's a whole bunch of other team leagues as well. Remember, Validity here is looking for the Triple Crown. They have already champions at the moment of 2 of the other leagues right now, and they really want this one to kind of go with it and add to it. So there's lots of different leagues, lots of different clan wars, and once you join a team or a clan, especially these very active ones like Validity, Swarm, Taste the Bacon, and so on, basically it's just a good opportunity to play clan matches. In-house tournaments get organized regularly for a lot of these teams where you can just play against all the other diamond players in your tournament. These Hellions, it's enough to one shot, but no longer. 2 Hellions, not enough. That shield battery says, get out of here.
Natural's quite exposed, though. No shield battery here if you micro says Hellions well, but there's more things going wild in this game for both players, actually. Average dude loads up a medevac of 4.
Interception.
Oh! Widow Mines is the word I was looking for. My brain isn't working.
Oh, that's so bad luck. Oh, he drops the Widow Mines. I mean, at least... Okay, there we go. At least you can... Yeah, go home and just repair. Go home and just repair, I reckon. You know what? Swarm Hunter is doing a 4-gate. So this is just like very low probes, 4-gate. You've got a bunker with 4 Marines and nothing else. Average dude needs to pull every SCV to repair right now. Hunter trickling in, though. Oh, no. Shows his hand with just 1 Stalker and a Sentry. Hunter with a big misstep gives Average Dude time to respond. Average Dude, you've got to pull more than that. Marines take down 1 Stalker. They're going to take down another 2 Stalkers. Wow, those Marines in the bunker were actually shooting different targets. I guess because they loaded in at different points. I've never seen that before. Normally, it's all shooting the same thing. But
Average Dude needs to get more SCVs on this bunker. If it, like, this looked good at the start, but if it goes down, like, these Stalkers will destroy this natural.
Oh, no. Average Dude. Oh my god, only 2? Average dude, you psychopath! You psychopath!
For the love of God!
Oh my God!
Oh, average dude, I think, believed too hard in the power of an SCV or two's mining. Is like, oh, I'm going to cut corners.
The Widow Mines are going in at the same time, though. That's why he was distracted, because he's like, oh, I'm going to destroy your economy at home. Gets 12 probes. And it's a tank on the high ground, so it's frustrating. Definitely should have repaired more. But tank on the high ground, there's Marines up there. Just pull the SCVs away, you're okay. These Widow Mines, wait. They're not even invisible. Hunter, you got to kill them. Pull the probes. Pull the probes now.
Oh my God, one of them might... Oh, okay, they do get cleaned up in the natural. Main base also cleaned up. That was really dicey there for Hunter. 2 tanks now, and they're covering the natural. The command center did not die. A bunch of SCVs died. But considering the probe damage, like you mentioned, that actually means this is actually quite even again.
Oh, and the Stalkers leave the base as the Raven comes in with the auto turret. Hunter, could you do worse timing there? That is such bad luck. The Raven, though, the pylon blocked where the auto turret was going to go, so the Raven just immediately pulled itself back. It'll have to go back in the near future. So the problem right now for Hunter is Hunter's stuck on low tech and doesn't appear to be transitioning. Now, that can work if tanks stop building, which they haven't, and if bunkers stop building, but you've got Stim Marines, you've got 2 tanks. Going in and out like this is not the way to do it.
Yeah, 3 Stalkers dying. I mean, that is just insanely valuable there for average dude. Each Stalker is just, you know, it's 50 gas, 125 minerals. It's just not cheap at all to be losing those units. There we go. That little tower, that little turret found itself a good juicy bit of probe damage. 7 of them going down in the natural.
Yeah, Chad turret, man. You know, I think the work account, though, we look at the Protoss flexibility here, not having to lift, chrono boosting probes. I think if Hunter takes a third, goes into things like Twilight, you've got a bit of a soft contain on. Just get some bloody Stalkers home to deal with that Raven, and I think you're okay. Like, Robo, Twilight's on the way, some more gases. I think if Hunter takes a third, we're actually going to see a Terran have a really hard time to recover economically. But what I'm afraid for is the tech, right? You've got this just unupgraded Protoss army, which performs very badly once Medevac Stim shields are out. Stim and shields are already done. Medevacs are almost out. You've got a bunch of tanks, a big blob of Marines, and 4 barracks. I mean, 3rd CC starting, so it's not even an all-in, but I think it's still an incredibly scary attack. Like, you need sick force fields and a Guardian Shield and the tanks to be caught on siege to take this down.
Oh, man, average dude's moving across the map with a timing here, and I love it. Like, just to get the Medevacs out and then move across with the Medevacs. This is an incredibly hard army for Hunter to stop. He went for a 4-gate. The economy was hit back at home. Like you said, he's very low tech. The Twilight Council just finished a few seconds ago, warping in slow zealots right now. Yeah. Starts chronoing the Twilight Council and Charge. Charge, I have a feeling, will not be seen in this game, Pig. This is an army that cannot stop what average dude is sending across the map at the moment.
Well, not that many Marines now. Oh, the sentry is going to go down. But yeah, these tanks are still so scary, even with only 11 Marines there, which is not very many. Good stutter step. And average dude's dropping the main mineral line at the same time. Oh.
Yeah, this is looking very rough here for Hunter. I mean, the Marines just drain that shield battery, and now the probes are under fire. Meanwhile, the natural taking a hammering here. Those tanks need to start sort of leapfrogging forward and really pressuring that static defense. All the probes nearly stacked up and burned down by those tanks. The main base has been cracked wide open by average dude. I actually would have loved it if everything was together. As much as I love this drop, I think if the whole army was together, this game would already be over. But they're coming in from both sides. Now they're joining up into one big ball of Marines, and the probes get pulled. Never a good sign.
When your opponent flanks you from your main base, that's when you know you're having a bad time, Maynard.
Yeah, that's it, man. It does not look good. 24 probes have died, and I have a feeling a few more are going to go down here. We just got average dude rallying across the map. There have been some supply blocks here from average dude. There's no 3rd base. There's a few macro mistakes, but god damn it, if he did not hold on and then turn this into a lovely position for him, if not a complete win at this point.
Yeah, shout out to once again the bait repair, you know, similar to that command center in the earlier series on Eternal Empire. We saw the bait bunker where he's like, yeah, I'll pull 1 more SCV to repair. Yeah, I'll pull 2 more SCVs to repair. It's sitting there on red hit points, barely surviving for a solid 45 seconds. And you're like, are you serious? Like, I don't know if this is calculated to perfection or you're just a psychopath average dude. But either way, it worked out this time, so you get mad props.
Yep. Yeah, unfortunately, Hunter is dead in the water. This is done and dusted. There is no army here for the Protoss anymore. There's 1, 2 Stalkers, I think. That's it. And there is way more Terran than that. So in comes average dude. Hunter consolidates the loss, taps out with the GG. And that is going to be a tie-up there. 2 apiece. 2 maps on the board for Validity Gaming and for ScSwarm.
What a good series so far. Exciting. There's aggression, there's attacks, there's interesting things coming out at all points, but I mean, it's so close. It's 2-2. It's great. This is amazing. And damn, man. So once again, guys, I do want to say there's people like Simon in chat who are recruiting for their teams. If you guys are interested at all, just drop a message in chat. Be like, hey guys, I'm interested in a team. Links is open. Links are open. Now that means obviously if there's any mods on, please be ready. People are like, oh yes, join my clan, pornocams.com. No, don't. Obviously only if you guys have links to your website, or you can direct guys to your Discord channels. Just be very clear on what the links are. Make sure in that message you say, hey guys, if you're interested in joining our clan, we need more people around this rank or whatever. Or if there's a group of people who are looking to maybe form a new team. I don't know if there's a way people can do that, if CTL facilitates like a forum, or there's like a place where you guys can all go on a message board or something. But I really appreciate it. Slap them down. And as we said, it's something where you just want to get involved, because StarCraft is so much more fun as a community, and in general every game is. Like whenever I start playing a game, if I get even slightly competitive, like playing multiplayer more than a tiny bit, if I don't actually start like either reading message boards on like different strategies and how to play, or watching a few videos, I find it really frustrating just playing in isolation, right? Without tapping into that shared knowledge pool of people who know how to play. But then there's like a different level of fun once you start playing with friends or joining a clan to have some fun games. And, there's a mixture of getting advice from people. But it's also, there's just something about playing in a community is so much better than that StarCraft experience that so many people in 2020 think gaming is. Like, I'm too busy to play in a guild. There's only one thing I know. I log in, I click versus, and ranked match, find game. And they just, every day, they just click this button. It's like they go to their match history, it's red, they feel terrible. It's green, they feel really good. And then the next day it's red and they feel terrible again.
I feel personally attacked, Pig. Why are you coming at me like this? Just at me, bro.
You gotta just get the main army there for moral support, mate. You just need more people making excuses, playing customs, mucking around with you. It's also playing customs as well. For anyone who's like, oh, I really suck in this matchup, there's nothing that is better than actually going, oh, I'm gonna play 10 games in a row with my Terran clanmate and get good at that matchup. Because on the ladder, you might be like, I really want to work on this matchup, and you might play 10 games without getting that matchup, right? It's just not, it's already the most diverse strategy game out there in the world. There is so many skills to master, so many things to focus on, so many different sorts of game that can come your way. So it's already an unkind environment. It's not something where you're sitting there perfecting the same sword thrust over and over again, or the same, punching the boxing bag. It's hard to get that situation. But when you get custom game partners, StarCraft takes on a whole new meaning, and it becomes so much more interesting for me, I think, to focus on what you want to focus on. It allows you to play the matchup you want to play against the people you want to play against, and improve so much faster. So get involved, just sign up to these leagues, play some games, and get to the grand finals and get cast by me and Maynarde so we can revel in your glory.
Like that's any kind of thing to aim towards. I mean, some people are down with that.
We cast,
it's crazy.
We cast, several a lot of the time, and we also cast you guys. And the next one's actually, we're getting up into is this Masters already?
I think so. We're getting up there.
I think these guys might be getting to Masters already. Was this 2-2 now, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Oh my God. All right, let's go.
Yeah, this is neck and neck, this final, man. We've had some, not going to lie, guys, not only at the highest level, but also in Chobo Team League, we've had some complete washes, like 4-0, that's it. But this is not one of those finals, which is cool to see. We love our back and forth finals.
No Gosus here, just Chobos, but Chobos are the best. Thank you very much, Safety Scissors, for the sub. I forgot to turn the alert sounds off. Thankfully, that has not been used the whole cast so far. I will mute that, give you guys shout-outs later. Thank you. My bad. Production on point as always. But hey, up here in the top left, representing Validity Gaming. This isn't Aussie Ice, is it?
I don't think so.
Protoss.
He was on Downfall, I think.
Maybe he plays both.
I mean, Ice is Protoss.
I'm like, I'm like Protoss
Maybe.
Masters. It is Aussie Ice. It is. Oh, hot damn. He's from your hometown, isn't he? Isn't he from Adelaide?
Yeah, man. I think
Hot
so.
damn.
Yeah.
Oh,
we've played each other on ladder before, and he's a bit of a cheeky boy from memory.
Oh,
so.
yeah. Dude. he knows those build orders, but this is Ice from Adelaide. So, yes, he is inbred like Maynarde, and, that's all right. That's Tasmania, guys. Just kidding.
Yeah.
Adelaide's the one that has weird religious cults, that's all.
Yeah, we got a lot of churches, but we're also, you know, unlike Pig State, we weren't colonized by criminals. So we got that going for us.
That's why it doesn't have as much flavor. Everything's bland there. Oh, yes, we just had German free settlers who wanted to come here. Psychopaths. Who the fuck wants to go to Australia back in the old days when it was just snakes and spiders and stuff? Crazy.
The Germans knew what was what. They came down with some better weather, some great food, started a town called Harndorf, which I'm actually going to on Sunday, and I'm very excited about it. It's a good spot.
It's like a nice place to like go and eat out and stuff.
Yeah, great restaurants. Like you can eat your weight in pork at like some of those places. We get some Schweinehaxe, some of that good German food. Yeah, it's nice.
Damn, man, I'm excited. My German ancestry is getting jiggly and wiggly here. Of course, down here in the bottom right, it's Jaded Shard for ScSwarm. Now, this is one of these one-base openings with a quick reactor. Now, does that SCV break off and proxy a starport? It's looking for proxies from the Protoss right now. There is a Zealot coming across the map. So this is an interesting scenario because we've seen this so much lately where it's just like, oh, my Hellions are a bit faster than normal. Or, ooh, maybe just, do we see an Armory? This has got to be the Armory Widowmine drop then, right?
Yeah, this is... I mean, we're in Diamond 1, so the build orders are going to be a little bit more calculated and definitely a lot more deliberate at this point. And I think that, you know, what Jaded Shard is doing is deliberately delaying that natural by quite a bit here. It has to be some kind of really high-tech rush, usually, when you delay your natural for this long.
Shield batteries going down at home. Ice. Now, this is good because Ice knows there's something coming. But there's also a problem that happens as Protoss. We were like, shield battery's good. Okay, so the problem that can happen is you can have as many shield batteries as you want. They're not going to out-heal a big explodey mine shot that one-shots all your workers, number one. Number two, where's your damage output is something that a lot of Protoss fall into the trouble, where you can't get information. This sort of game is so frustrating because you're like, what is behind that wall? The Zealot's looking for proxies, the Stalker's poking around. You don't know what's coming. And so you're trying to get out some vision, some tech, but you can find yourself in a situation where you've only got something like 2 Stalkers, the Widowmines freely dropping all those mineral lands, and with the Armory on the way, well, you better make sure your observers get home quickly, number one. And number two, you don't run them into the Widowmine splash. I will tell you, there is nothing more triggering than F2ing your army to respond to these Widowmines. The Widowmine shot hits a probe, the splash kills the observer, and you're like, oh my god. It is one of the most frustrating things. So he's got to be very careful with those observers. First one coming across the map. He does have a second observer that I believe is near the main base. He sees this. Let's go to Ice's camera right now. I'm on Ice's camera. Yeah, he's moving the Stalkers up. He spotted it. So he's very well prepared. 3 Stalkers and an observer in position.
Yeah, it looks like as far as preparation goes, Ice is super ready for what Jaded Shard's doing here. And Jaded Shard's entire opening relied on this to do damage. So let's see how much he can get done. All the observers not coming along with the Stalkers here. Bit of juggling with the medevac.
2 probes, not terrible, and he gets it in the other mineral line. So, you know, double mineral line wasted mining time, gets a Stalker. This is not terrible. It's not like amazing though, because you are on one base. But whoa,
wow.
What is? Whoa, there's a Thor. There's a Thor drop. Drilly boy all in. Follow up. Jaded Shard.
Holy crap.
Chad of all Chad builds. This is Wings of Liberty old school. It's going to be a harem of SCVs all drilling that Thor back to full hit points. A bunch of Marines backing it up. A Liberator coming behind. A medevac for healing. Oh my god. You need an Immortal and you need more Stalkers. But Ice, he's lost so much mining time. He's chronoing charge. That's not going to help. He's only got 2 gates. I don't think he's got enough firepower, Maynard.
No, he's completely skipped Blink here, and I think his observer saw this, but I think he's just like, what do I even do against this? I've never had this happen to me before, ever, on ladder at any point, and he just doesn't have the correct response. Yeah. The overcharged shield battery lasts about 5 seconds, and there's a big Drilly Boy repair on that Thor. I don't see that Thor going down.
Yeah, I mean, remember, it's an all-in. Jaded Shard needs to kill, so the shield battery's going down, the one on the high ground helping. This is all good stuff. That Thor needs to get ferried to the back. Jaded Shard's Thor. Oh, actually, you know what? It can tank a while longer. And once the SCVs start repairing, they're going to be amazing as well. So, oh, the Liberator, even that is such a problem here for Ice to deal with. And look at that Liberator. It's going to siege the natural.
Oh, there goes that pylon. That's all the production device. That's charge denied. Robo denied means no Immortal. And that means no saving this main for Ice anymore. 37 probes have died. SCV still alive, mass repairing that Thor. The Marines really haven't been thinned out at all. Liberator camped on top of whatever Nexus it wants. Ice, unfortunately, getting cheesed out of this game.
Oh, this is such a sick build order. Jaded Shard. I mean, I was already, you know, fond of Jaded Shard. One of those people I see in Twitch chat in multiple channels, and I'm like, oh, that's a cool person. Jaded Shard's cool.
Dude,
That's made me a fan. I am a fan after seeing that build order. Hot damn.
I think I've just realized that Jaded Shard might actually be like one of those international sexy spies, like a James Bond kind of character that wears like, you know, beautiful suits and that sort of thing. Because he just went for one of the dankest builds and also apparently speaks 5 languages.
And
like,
works at a live action role-playing store as well.
Which is what someone that does cool build orders like that and speaks 5 languages absolutely is not actually doing. All right?
Yeah.
He's too smart and too intelligent to just have a LARP job. I'm sure that there's a LARP job, and not saying there's anything wrong with that, just saying that when you're that intelligent, there's also something else happening behind the curtains. And I think that he's got a second life as maybe an international man of mystery.
Yeah.
Jaded Shard, send a winky face to me if I'm anywhere near the mark. I obviously don't want to give up your cover, so don't have to explain everything to me. But I just want to. I just have a feeling. I have a little bit of a titillation here.
Oh my god. Hold my beer, I'm coming for the championship in all caps. Jaded Shard was spamming in chat before. I love it. I love it. Dude, that was such a cool... There's just something as well about like... I love it because the Armory Widowmines is just annoying to deal with. And it's actually funny because it was mostly shut down, but you could tell Ice had that moment of doubt, which we've all had, where he thought there was another Widowmine in the main, which there wasn't. I think, or he was worried that there was, because he killed one of them burrowed, and then he couldn't kill it, right? But there was a long time before it fired, so he could have gone back to mining, but he was still kind of making 100% sure his observer, he cleared up the one in the natural, cleared up the one in the main, then went back to mining. And I think that was right when the move out happened. So I feel like Ice didn't even see all those units moving out of the base, right? Or maybe an Immortal gets out, maybe a few more Stalkers get out. And it's just, it's like, it's one of those things you're like, cool, I defended it. It was a 1-base silly Widow mine drop. I'm good now. Let's get me charge and some more observers and probes. And then you're like, oh, where the hell did this army come from? And then you rewind, you see, I saw the army move out, but I didn't see the army move out. A frustrating loss for Ice, but a very cool game there. And that does take ScSwarm to the 3-2 advantage. As we go to this next map, I am very excited, and I feel like ScSwarm basically has this one in the bag, Maynard. Can you see, what is the name of this ScSwarm player?
That's it. Back in high school, we had a guy called Nigel No Friends, but I think that Nigel, being on ScSwarm's got an entire clan of mates. So it's one of those cool Nigels, a very rare breed.
Yeah, man, he's going to cast in Gorge MMR here and attain championship, you know. I think
level 3 eroticism. Take off his robe and wizard hat.
Yeah, I'm literally playing D&D with my Nigel, the Virgin Wizard character in about, 5 hours, I think we're starting, over on Neuro's
Sexual
Twitch channel.
But a virgin at the same time. Yeah, Nigel the Wizard.
Yes, a complete.
I love that show.
Both a complete deviant and a bit of a virgin at the same time.
And a hard virgin, yeah.
Not by choice. Not by choice.
It's a very tough, like, razor edge to balance on, but you are just a great character player, Pig. I gotta say, does a very good job. We're seeing, by the way, we got to intro this game because this is a very early build from Irish in the bottom left here for the Validity Gaming boys and girls. Good one.
This is always good to come back. You know, every now and then I'm like, oh, this build's not good. It just got held 7 times in a row. And then we just see it win a ton of pro games for a while. And this is the super aggressive one. Notice there's no queen, right? It's like 6 lings right away. Are we going to see a queen now? I've got my eyes open on that. Are we going to see a queen, or is it just ling speed, more zerglings, bane nest? Like, ling speed starts. And more Zerglings starting. Irish is going hard. Not pulling any off gas. Yeah. This is the most committed version of the build. And you might not see a queen start at all even. Because the way it works is the queen does choose supply. So you can have like a sustained yet 0 follow-up all in. Because there's a queen, there's a bit more chance to say kill the natural and transition here for Irish. It's not as all in, but it's still massively committed.
Yeah, this thing's going to hit as hard as an Irishman, I feel, Pig. As I was going to say, the Bailey Nest usually comes with this because you're still mining gas.
Oh, there's 2 drones behind the natural. What's going on there? Oh, no. And Nigel was not looking at the Overlord when the Lings ran through it just a few seconds ago. Is he going to try and build spines down there? I think that's a miss rally. Nigel's 2 drones, I think they were maybe just giving each other a bit of the Dutch rudder behind the natural there. They went off into the secret alleyway, you know, behind the school gym to get a bit of nookie.
Yeah. Oh my god. The drones are being pulled here. And the spawning pool is up for Nigel, and he definitely has the ability to hold for now. But of course, the Baneling Nest is about to finish here for Irish.
He's kind of got to find the Banelings.
For those links.
He's got to find them. Oh, he goes the wrong direction. He's got to find those Banes. If he gets them before they're morphed, this would be great. But now it's too late. And with only one queen out, no spine, no second queen. Oh, we better see some really good spreadies on these Zerglings, or the Banelings are just going to wipe him out. So Nigel needs to get spreading those Zerglings out, and gets... Oh, those drones and Zerglings are so clumped. Oh, no. Oh!
Banelings crash on in. They kill 4 or 5 drones, but the main thing they kill there are the Zerglings. And now Speedlings of Irish are all over the Queen. They're all over the Natural. They're going to kill the Queen and the drones here. More Lings have popped for Nigel, but he hasn't got Ling speed, so it feels like it's going to be too hard for him to win an engagement against this rally of Irish, who's starting another 8 Lings back at home. Still on 1 base, mind you. So if Nigel can start to stabilize, maybe there's a hold here.
You know what? If you stop the Banelings morphing, stops them 10 drones. You got 2 hatches versus 1. Rebuilding the drones does need to get up a spine or another queen, though, to defend the next wave. This is it's non-stop slow Zergling production. I think Nigel needs to counterattack with all the Zerglings, right? In this situation, yes, your Zerglings are worse, but if there's Speedlings and Banes in any decent numbers, you're kind of just screwed. So slow Zerglings aren't going to cut it. Nigel's making Ling speed. I think Nigel needs spines and queens. He starts the spine. Is it going to be ready in time? 3 Banelings. There's not many Zerglings backing it up. So if Nigel can spread the Lings out, get the queen up front, I think can take this, but those Zerglings aren't pre-spreading at all. Okay, there we go. Spread. Is Nigel going to make an incredible hold? He might just be able to hold on here. The Zerglings come forward. He's doing an amazing job. Oh, a big Baneling hit to finish, though.
Yeah, that last Baneling especially was really nasty there, but not a ton of Speedlings from Irish to actually capitalize on that connection there. So once again, it's on the precipice, but it looks like Nigel is starting to stabilize a little bit. He canceled the spine. Oh no. I really wish he left that finish.
That's not the right decision. Yeah, if that spine finished, I think like there's a chance. As it is, the next wave, it's still... Remember, there's injects going on at home here for Irish. Yes, Irish hasn't built any workers. It's only 12 workers. These drones, every time mining gets lost like that, it's huge. You add a big Baneling here. One Baneling goes off, the other one... Oh my god, and that's it. You can't afford to lose any more workers, and you're going to lose them all. They're on red hit points. Even the drill won't help you.
Yeah, that one Baneling has just kind of sealed the fate here of Nigel, unfortunately. A little bit of overconfidence after holding on to the Natural for the second time, but Irish rolls through, and we're still tied series here, Pig. 3 apiece for Validity and for ScSwarm.
So juicy, dude. This is so fun. It's 3-3 as we go to the ace match, and I love that these guys, they even give filler matches as well. What they do. So I don't know. It's basically what happens, guys, is we go to a best of 3 between the Masters players. I believe they're Masters 2 or Masters 3. Guys in chat can update me. Obviously, the rules change based on where everyone stands in the league and that sort of stuff. But I believe it's a Masters 2, Masters 3 match, best of 3 to decide. So the way we're going to do this is we will show the scoreboard as a best of 3, but this is the deciding ace match to decide the whole thing. So we're just going to top off the best of 7, and that's just the way they do it. It's a best of 1, except for this game. And like I said, they put fake replays. So I'm loading the replay up from the pack, and they put 3 replays in. One of them could be fake. It might be a 2-0. I have no idea. Maynarde has no idea. We got to get right in and find out. This is a great finals.
I hate spoiling replays for myself because I really feel like I just want to experience everything is like so when you're excited about a movie, you don't want any information on it. You just want to go in there and experience it.
Exactly.
Same deal with any replay of any level for StarCraft. Like I actually even tell some of my subs off sometimes when they send in replays for a replay cast, and they kind of just like spoil the game in the blurb. I'm like, guys, no.
Yeah,
I want it to be a surprise.
I always, they're like, oh, yep, and then make sure you watch it 12 minutes when I do the sneaky nuke, and you're like, no! Like, it's that thing, right, where I'm like, it's sorry, guys, but, like, maybe in the early days, you did get the feel, if you look back at some of those VODs, or the ones that aren't deleted anyway, some of the early YouTubers clearly had watched the games beforehand, and they'd kind of come up with the story ahead of time a little bit, but some of us just aren't as comfortable with that sort of canned content. We like to have our natural enthusiasm flow, and otherwise we feel it's weird pretending you don't know what's going to happen in a cast. So it just creates this weird atmosphere for me where I'm like, oh, I'm going to analyze this thing when I know what's going to happen next. You're like, oh, that just comes off as just it rubs me
weirdly
wrong. It feels
disingenuine.
Yeah.
In the top right here for ScSwarm, we've got Aleph Naught who is going for a weird opening, man.
No,
Whoa,
the panic!
no.
The panic double cancel, Maynard!
Oh,
That's
that is
why
so
you...
unfortunate.
We had to get the APM up
so far here.
You had to get the APM up with the spamming the keys, right? And then accidentally cancels. Well, now the probe's like,
no.
what? What is going... Do you proxy a command center? Why is this barracks so late? The accidental cancel. Oh. Is that Depot gonna die as well? No.
It might.
No.
No.
Aleph Naught, no. Okay.
Okay, we're good. We're good.
Oh my gosh. That's a terrible start, though.
Yeah, that's so heartbreaking. Barcode's also, by the way, going Cybercore before Nexus. So I feel like even though there's going to be double barracks here, there's actually a lot of ability for Barcode to be really aggressive and weird at the start of this game as well. To just like punish the lack of natural and like the later barrackses.
Well, this is a gasless opening from Aleph Naught. And you gotta get that orbital. There we go. Okay, so I think it's gonna be like just a bunch of few extra Marines, command center to be safe, and then kind of like double gas into like, you know, like 2 or 3 barracks play, I think. But Aleph Naught's got a ton of money and isn't spent. Okay, the command center does go down. That build order so thrown off and delayed. And you know what? Sometimes this freaks out the other player. So I think that's really the hope, is that Barcode kind of is freaking out right now. And look, there's 2 probes on the map scouting for proxy. So Barcode is already overreacting a little bit. And look at that. Shield batteries are going down. Yes, this SCV gets caught, but with his shield battery already at the natural and the probe, there's an idling probe in the mineral line. You know what? Oh, this is Barcode's doing my reaction. Your opponent's build doesn't make sense. You freak out. There's 2 probes that weren't mining for a minute. You got 2 probes scouring the map. You're like, where are your buildings? Guess what? Aleph Naught messed up his opening, but it's going to pay off a little bit because Barcode, also in this grand finals, is just as nervous as he is.
And people will look at this going, you know, this is where, you know, the actual Nigel no friends, not the Nigel with friends that we saw in the last game, but Nigel no friends shows up in Twitch chat, says, "Lol, is this bronze?" No, mate, these are Masters players. Stuff like this happens sometimes. You know, this is what not professional StarCraft looks like, even in Masters League, which is where this series is. So Aleph Naught getting away with murder, it feels like, at the beginning of this game.
Bit of background, by the way, Aleph Naught is actually a software dev at Shopify. Fosters adorable kittens and has over 25 houseplants. Oh, I love a good houseplant environment.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
nice.
Got a
Dot's
bit
been
of
getting super into that
home
last
greenhouse.
Very nice. And he's the captain of Shopify's StarCraft team in the CEA, the Corporate Esports Association. What a legend. So I can't wait to see what TLO's got planned with Shopify. He's recently been hired from them as quit his pro gaming career to go be their head of esports. I don't know what they've got in mind, but I'm super excited to find out. So apparently he's also improved massively over this season. Aleph Naught has just been kind of like jumping up the ladder very quickly and improving, you know, so that's very cool to see.
And unfortunately, Barcode from Validity Gaming is a barcode, so is an enigma wrapped in mystery. Yeah,
this is literally just pure anonymity, just kind of, you know, sitting there in the ladder. Oh, who is this player? I don't know. Unupgraded Marines versus Stalkers, though, that's never good for the Terran. There is a Marauder there, but no concussive or anything, so no bunker. Aleph Naught is like, I may have been a bit too greedy, and Barcode's going to take advantage, micro back and forth here and pick off a few of these Marines.
I don't mind the build order from Aleph Naught, the gasless opening, but I even kind of muttered it under my breath a little bit when we saw that command center go down the low ground. I'm like, oh, this is so greedy. Like, you need to get a bunker with this. So if you did, this would be done by now, and these slow Marines wouldn't have too much of a hassle dancing with a couple Stalkers.
Well, you know, the stim, the shields, the +1, this 3x timing is so brutal. Everyone gets so used to playing against, oh, it's a Widow Mine drop. Oh, it's 2 Hellions and a Reaper. Oh, it's, you know, it's a Liberator. It's a Banshee. Well, you know, when you don't build those things, you just build barracks units. There's this power spike, and that's what people forget, is that power spike. Think about it. Normally it's 6 minutes, 37 minutes when that big stim push comes. Well, it's like 5 minutes in this case, because these barracks came down so early. It's 5 minutes, 36 minutes. You're already going to have a giant bio ball with stim. The factory's quite well timed behind it, so he's not going to have crazy delayed medevacs. This isn't like a one-punch stim push, but he's moving out with 5 Marauders and like, what is that? 12 Marines. That's a lot of firepower. That's actually a very scary push.
Yeah, I mean, it is looking like Barcode is just warping in a bunch of units and being really careful here. I would have really loved for that Observer to have been a bit more active. The main is completely in the dark for the Protoss. Like, he's not been able to have a look at what the Terran's plan is. Now he sees the push, but it's already on his side of the map.
Nexus is going to finish, so can overcharge that just in time and charges and pull back, Barcode, pull back. Oh, Sentry's warped in. Force fields could be big. One more Zealot warp in would be huge here. But there's only 2 gateways. Oh
good
no.
Force fields.
Having charge doesn't help that much when you've only got 2 gateways. Needs to overcharge. Overcharge. I don't know if there's any. Oh my god. There we go. Overcharge comes down. Great force fields. And what looked like the scariest situation ever turns into a spectacular hold.
Yeah, those force fields were brilliant, man. Just cut exactly where they needed to do. Used as much, as little force field energy as possible there for as much value as possible. And with this many Stalkers left over, he's absolutely making the right decision here.
Is he chasing too far, though? Look at this. Look at this. Alefnort says, it's a trap, mate. You're out of energy. You're out here with unupgraded gateway units. Grabs one Stalker, too. If he can grab those sentries, which he should be able to, they're very slow. Go for the sentries. Go for the sentries, Alefnort. Don't let him get away. Ooh, the sentries are going to escape. Nice luck there for Barcode. But good zealots behind us. So, okay, good. Alefnort I was like, are we going to then see Alefnort overchase to get surrounded by zealots? This could be one of those games where it's just like, oh no, both sides overextending. But I think this patience
we call that a Maynarde TVP is what that looks like. When I'm like, oh my god, all the blood's rushing out of my brain into a different part of my body. I won't get into it. But
I'm killing the Protoss.
I'm killing the Protoss. I'm winning. Oh my god. And then he died for
Hero Marine said it's not possible. He said you have to be so much better skilled than the opponent to win this matchup.
And then you overextend, you send your units over there, you lose everything to charge lots, and then you're like, all right, what was I doing? The blood rushes back into your brain, you're floating 1,500 minerals, there's no third base, you've missed your 4th and 5th barracks. You're like, oh, damn it, I got a boner again.
It's, the demise of many a Terran. Marine drop queued up right down the bottom of the map, and it's not even queued to go in. It's just going to wait on the bottom for the right moment. I like that. Now, there is only one medevac with this front army. I like it poking. I don't want to see it overextend for Alefnort because there's still a lot of zealots out and sentries with force fields. So that's very scary. So for Alefnort, you've really got to be careful with this. You don't want to overextend. Double eBay, 3rd command center. All this stuff's on the way. Alefnort's got a good follow-up. So I think right now it's more important for Alefnort to get the 3rd established while really just using the main army as more of a threatening distraction and go for some future attack, right? Maybe Ghosts would be amazing versus the Immortals and the Sentries. There's Archons that are going to be warping in. And that 8 Marine drop going to find its way in an undefended main base. Ooh, there's a quick 4th base, but there's only 6 gateway production, and a lot of Archons and Zealots just got warped in. Most of them are off cooldown. The Marine drop finds the main base. Barcode finds himself in a spot of bother here.
And he sees the pylons powering quite a bit, but of course there are 2 more pylons keeping that Forge and Templar archives alive, so he can still start Storm, he can still start, or rather continue his upgrades. 3rd base looks like it's about to be assaulted by Alefnort, but once again, Barcode's doing a great job at rotating his army around and covering those bases. Every time the Terran moves, he moves, and a lot of that has to do with his great observer coverage.
He's got to get out now. Yeah, he can kite the Zealots a little, but those force fields and Archons are deadly. This is such a scary army, and the Ghost Academy just finished, and really powering up a few Ghosts has got to be so important here. Enhanced Shockwave starts. I think that's a nice upgrade, but I think actually getting the Ghost to stack some energy is more important. The redrop in the main, though, oh, Alefnort, this is some textbook TVP. Just keep forcing Stalker warp-ins in the main, and the more you can force your opponent to invest in a lot of Blink Stalkers, well, they're just not that useful in the frontal engagement. And the more you force your opponent to spread out a little bit, you do bits of damage. And we've actually got, yes, there's a 4th for Protoss, but the Storm's being delayed, the Disruptor and Colossus transition's being delayed.
No. The medevacs fly over some Archons and Stalkers here, and he loses like 4 or 5 of them, or like at least 3. Ooh. Damn.
Oh, he's got a, those Ghosts aren't ready just yet. Has got a nice upgrade advantage, 1-1 versus just
good drop again.
And the Stalkers keep getting pulled out. Barcode! Oh, his Barcode's been F2ing like a boss, and he's getting punished for it. Every time Alefnort saves this drop, he punishes the F2 massively. And that's a big bio army. It's a lot of Zealots, though. I'd like to see one stutter step. Can those Ghosts land some EMPs? Ooh,
I don't know about this attack anymore from Barcode. This is absolutely another extension at this point. Yeah. Those force fields kind of hurt him more than actually helped. The Archon's now being chased. Castle Shell isn't helping him out here, but he's able to just gun them down and retreat. There goes 300 gas down the toilet. Reinforcement from Barcode's, earlier recall is finally getting across the map. Guardian Shield activated, but out of position, that Guardian Shield.
Uh-oh, you got to get out of there, Barcode. The drop's gone to the natural. A huge Widow Mine, and that drop is now in the natural base. Yeah, once again, Barcode F2 to the front. Ooh, the red hit point medevac picks up the units and gets them all killed. But I don't think this is enough for Barcode. There's enough bio. It is going to be a 1-1, soon to be 2-1 upgrade advantage. The Marines in the natural going to ferry their way over to the third. And even though Barcode took out some of the units, you've just got a Terran here who is doing so much damage bouncing between these bases. The Protoss economy is getting butchered, and Barcode here unable to defend. This drop has just been an absolute nightmare for Barcode to deal with.
Yeah, and the macro has really been on point for Alphanaut as well, by the way. He's in a lovely supply position. He's got himself 71 workers. He's still making SCVs during all of this. And even with just one engineering bay, he's shooting ahead in upgrades. He's going to have 2-2 soon against a single Forge Protoss, who's been very much, like you mentioned, mismanaging his army a little bit, but also the economy just keeps getting hit. His defense is left wide open. Shield batteries not being enough to hold because of this drop being well controlled by Alphanaut. Good multitasking. I mean, we do have a little bit of a misrally of SCVs here at the third base, kind of similar to who we saw a little bit earlier, the Laminar game, but not as bad. And I still think the Terran's in such a wonderful spot here as long as he keeps up this great play.
That single drop used with finesse, now a single liberator. I love this. You know, Alphanaut is not splitting large portions of the army off, but we're seeing that Barcode is so used to F2ing the army that every time there's a threat on the front, pulls the whole army and is unable to deal with the multi-prong. Oh, the EMP to end all EMPs. Oh, my fudgety shit. There is one storm remaining
here.
Oh, that Liberator on the bottom, I still feel this is such a good setup for the Terran player, but he's letting it go to the late stage, right? So up on the top left gets 8 more probes as well. The Stalker's finally cleaned it up at 83 SCVs. I think the only danger here is just building too many workers, right? The main, the natural, and the third are all massively oversaturated. Needs to move those workers down. And the Bio Ghost Army is amazing, but a few good Storms, a few good Colossus swipes, it does go down. So I think the extra starports, they're a great idea. I don't think there's been a fusion core, but if you can start adding enough libs in and that sort of stuff, you'll be good. I think it's still a gigantic army advantage, but it might be the situation where Alphanaut actually wants to split up a little bit more and really attack multiple areas. For now, it's just lib harass that is really putting Barcode's economy in the ground.
Ghost coming in here, a 4 Ghost hit squad with EMPs for most of that army there. I can get the rest of it. There we go. Another EMP, and he can just cover everything.
Barcode's got to get out of there. Barcode, get out of there. Get out of there.
Yeah,
you need to go juice that army up. You need to overcharge those batteries and get the heck out of there. This is so much Terran. It is balled up, though. Oh, no. His Marines moving into the front line. Oh, no.
Not stimmed either. There we go.
Oh, yeah, that was a bad bio positioning there for Alphanaut. As you said, no stim for so long. The Marines forced their way into it, the biggest clump possible against that Colossus. Did massive splash, and we do see Alphanaut trading though, and that's the important thing. As much as we're like, well, that fight wasn't clean, the EMPs leading up to it, the fact that you've got the economy, it doesn't even matter because Alphanaut's remaxed, so Alphanaut can zerg the crap out of Barcode, and Barcode is just struggling to hang on. Now, what do you need as Barcode? Big storms, right? We need to see High Templar like spread out and maybe ambushing this army. Maybe if this Observer shuffles up and sees it, maybe some Disruptors coming out. The thing is, there's still a 70 probe economy. We're at this 4-base stage where a few Chronos on probes, some good bouncing back with that. Barcode clearly has good mechanics, but I think needs to invest in things like Dark Templar, Disruptors, these comeback units, because you're facing you're facing a huge Terran. You've got to do those moves to throw him off, right? I don't think front on is going to make it work.
We've got the Prism loaded up here with 4 High Templar going for the first class Storm strats here, which I still love for Protoss. Really, really hard to pull off. If you actually have to be very careful with your hotkeys, but also very hard for the Terran to deal with if you nail it. We do have a little bit of run die here from the Terran, actually. Like, no medevac, just a bio shift click into that third base. And, you know, Barcode's harassment defense has not been amazing this game. So Alphanaut trying to capitalize on that.
Oh, nice cloak there. He wanted to try and feedback potentially in Storm Drop. And the Storm Drop is huge because it does protect, but dude, that Bio Drop's actually doing big damage. Storm Drop needs to hold. Storm Drop needs to hold. Ooh, very good Storm Drop. All the ghosts are gone. Alphanaut there. Ooh, is in big trouble. So, you know, Alphanaut is doing good damage here, keeps maintaining the advantage. I just feel like at some point Alphanaut needs to just go and really escalate and make the Protoss come to him. He keeps trying to force his way through the Protoss, and the Protoss player is doing a good job of bouncing back, right? Barcode here is just hanging on. DTs and Disruptors are coming out, and that's where things get so much more complicated as the Terran player. Adding things like Vikings, I mean, there's a couple Colossus they'll help. They'll definitely help take the Prism out of the sky, which is probably one of the more important things since he's been so good with his EMP. Get rid of the Prism and there's no hiding place, but 8 DTs warp in, and this is where things get so complicated for the Terran. I think Alphanaut needs to keep trading, needs to keep forcing the issue. This Bio army on the bottom is actually not that big. He's had the scary army all game. There's no Ghosts, no Vikings, no Libs. This army is getting caught out, and that's a big problem for Alphanaut.
Certainly is. Vikings coming on in, but only 3 of them here. There are still 2 Colossi coming down. Oh, move command. Alifnort loses his whole army out on the map here. He does still have more on the map, but it's back at home. His map presence is gone.
He clicked those units home and he thought they would rally to the right-hand side. He didn't realize that the fastest path was the other way. Thankfully, though, the backstab gets in and his economy is magnificent. It is huge. Like, it is just a protuberance, turgid Terran economy against a Protoss that's just, his economy's crap. It's 58 probes, but it's the DTs and the disruptors that make me say, hey, it's not over till it's over, because Alifnort looks like he's losing steam. As this army gets more complicated to dissect, it feels like Alifnort is kind of at a loss of, hey, how am I going to take this army down? There's DTs, there's Storm, there's Colossus, there's disruptors, and it seems like this very complicated situation. You know, I feel like he's got to go back to basics with just EMPing this and trying to get out maybe some range libs or something. It's a scary army. We might enter a base trade here.
Both players are about to run past each other here and do a bunch of damage to each other. Those High Templar kind of joining in with the pack. There we go. The DT's been broken off. Going to go for the planetary dive. They can DPS this thing down. The repair will not be good enough. Meanwhile, at 6 o'clock, that Nexus is in just equal amounts of trouble. But 2 command centers might go down here. Barcode's still with a lot of DPS in this army. Does he recall? Does he keep barreling through? We'll see what he does.
Yeah, I mean, this Bio Ghost army is very good at up to a certain point, but past that point, things like ranged liberators or tanks that just, you know, outpace the Colossus and the Storm can be a bit more powerful. Alifnort will need a lot of finesse in setting up this engagement, and I think EMPs are a big part of that. The DTs blink forward, but they actually blink past the scan. The DTs are ravaging.
And they blunked through the EMP as well, got on top of the Ghosts. Very annoying there. And all those Vikings do reset the Colossus count. This land is absolutely not going to work out. So the Vikings go down. Both players just took a ton of damage, but Alifnort, as the dust settles, in a much better spot because once again, Barcode has not been handling his harassment defense very well at all. Any run by, any time the Terran's in more than one place, Barcode has been folding.
Forgive me for ever doubting. What Alifnort has never stopped doing those run-bys and drops, and they're really where the amazing trades have come, right? Even saving 4 ghosts after the tail end of that fight, boosting that in for an evac was awesome. The 90 SCV economy. Forgive me for ever doubting you, Alifnort. You've got the most monster mode macro. This is actually insane. This is super duper cool.
Big fan of It's like almost TY level with these SCVs. EMPs for the DTs there, so they're uncloaked. Ghost coming in from the right side. Oh, EMPs for the High Templar. Oh! Yeah, good storm, but Barcode is all in, guys. Yeah. This needs to work, and I don't think it will. Big concave of Bio, reinforcement liberator here. It's close, but the reinforcements from Alifnort are going to be enough.
Ooh, Alifnort with the Bio Ghost just chads the way through there. Barcode is out of steam, and oh gosh, you know, it's kind of interesting, just the Liberator harass, the little single medevac harass. I think this was clearly a game where you look at it and you go, man, if Barcode just had a few cannons on the edges of the main and stuff, on the edges of those bases, zoning those harassments out, it could have changed everything. But that being said, I mean, shout out to the beginning of this final series. So for those who don't know, why is the scoreboard changing? Well, it is 3-3, but this is a best of 3, which is why we had this scoreboard of 0-0 this whole time. Yes, Alifnort wins this game. He needs to win one more. It's a best of 3 for the ace match is how it works. Now, just to go back, I just wanted to show the replay one more time at the start to remind everyone how this game started very quickly. Just remember at the start of that, Alifnort was doing a 2 barracks opening, was spamming through the hotkeys, going, I'm in the finals, accidentally cancelled 2 barracks. So shout out to Alifnort for recovering. That's a bloody nightmare, dude. That's so
about
demotivating.
As you could hype for as a Terran.
Oh my god. I would just shit. I'd be like, you idiot. There would be so much self-hatred in my self-talk for the next 2 minutes of that game. Just
if I wasn't playing a tournament game for my team in Chobo Team League or something like that, I would have left the game.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's like you're there as a Zerg and you're like waiting for your spawning pool to finish. You go to build queens and lings. It finishes. You're like, why can't I build queens and lings? You're like, oh, that's an evolution chamber. You're like, no.
Happens to the best of us, I guess, huh? All right. In the bottom left here from ScSwarm, currently up in the series on the verge of match point, which would be game set match point if he gets this one. It is the Terran player for ScSwarm, Alifnort. Or Alifnort, my bad.
When I was a little kid, I couldn't say elephant. I said effluent, and this name is reminding me of that. Effluent.
I couldn't say helicopter. I said helicopter.
Nice. Everyone share your favorite things in chat of your the things you used to mispronounce as a small child. My other favorite one, for Vegemite, I said MBI, which to me sounded exactly the same. Yeah.
That is nowhere near. That's a swing and a miss.
I wasn't the brightest 4-year-old, okay, Maynard?
Get good, Pig. What are you for? Cut the umbilical cord already. Get a job and start earning.
I remember my older brother just being like, are you stupid? Like, he's like, what is wrong with you? Is like, I'm like, I'm saying it. And he's like, you're not saying it. And I'm like, I am.
Is it true Krenzel fashion to dumpster on a 4-year-old?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he was like 7 at the time. And yeah, I think it's your place if you're about 2-3 years older as a sibling, your job is to permanently tell the younger one that they're a moron. Like, if you don't do that, you're not doing your job.
I'm only 2 years older than my sister, and absolutely that was the case. So
yeah. You gotta tell her she's a failure the whole time. She's not good enough. You gotta bring down your sibling.
She was my favorite family member until she could start to speak. Then things went downhill from there. But we do have, of course, in the top right, Barcode from Validity Gaming fighting for his team pride on the line here in the grand finale. Yeah. It is that gasless opening again for Aleph Naught, by the way, and this time did not cancel the barracks.
This probe is on Smoko, unfortunately, for Barcode here at the start. He built the Cybercore, now he's on Smoko, so leave me alone. Does eventually go back to mine gas, but a bit of lost mining time there. Marine, oh no, the probe does not. He goes to the corner, contemplates some of this grass, thinks about life a little bit as a robot. What is my purpose? Fetch minerals. But what is my purpose? You fetch minerals. That's literally it. Occasionally you scout.
Minerals, life. Speak to me, creator.
That's all you're there for, probe. And we're gonna take your reasoning chip out and your life meaning and emotion chip, right? We don't want you to get too upset about your role.
In Star Trek, they gave the emotion chip to Data, but the probes did not get that extra bit of income from the Protoss Army. Protoss do not give emotion chips to the probes. At least I don't like to think they do, because otherwise I'd feel worse about those TVP drops that go well.
Yeah, I mean, well, the Protoss are all down with caste systems. I mean, if you put Rohana back in charge, she'd be like classifying all the different Protoss, like, oh, your little top knot Kala hair tube thing is like shorter than mine, so you're in a lower class. Like, Terran are dirty, we eat them as a delicacy, and that's about it. We don't, we basically, if you touch a Zerg, you become tainted by them, that sort of stuff. But this is a cute little pressure. If they just run in and focus probes, those Marines could do some damage.
They certainly could. As a Protoss, you're not really expecting a 5 Marine attack at this point. As it stands, they actually fan out. One stands on top of the third base. There's actually Aleph Naught's going a SCV patrolling at the other potential third location. And this is enough Marines to fight a single Adept until the Stalker pops out, of course.
What a funky opening from Aleph Naught has just found that the way of dealing for Aleph Naught with the early game Stalkers and everything is just build a few more Marines, try to intercept any Stalkers or Adepts that come to your other side, and if they don't come to your side, go do a little cute pressure. Now, it does get 2 probes, bit of mining time, doesn't get the Adept. Turns out, if just went in right away, could have got a bit more damage there, I think. Killed the Adept and got a few more probes, but still not bad.
We are seeing a direct charge upgrade here from Barcode, skipping Blink completely. And I think that Barcode might have been a little bit unhappy with how game 1 went after all that late game. He's like, I put 20 minutes of my life into that game and it didn't go well. Let's have a nice quick one here for game 2.
Well, did like the quick charge in the previous game, but it was only on 2 gates into a third that game. So it was like 3 zealots when that push came. Remember that 3 racks? There was 3 charge zealots actually. There was. Yes. But it was off 2 gate. Whereas now you're absolutely right. There's 2 more gates. There's more gates going down now. So this is absolutely called it. That Warp Prism getting chronoed. The observer's going to kind of spy out the correct angle. Where is that observer? Oh, it's just sitting above the robo. Observer, get scouting, mate. You're meant to clear the path. You're meant to figure out which way we're going.
The Prism is a scout and also the death at the same time. It has a 2 feature here, the Prism, for just minerals.
This attack's really good versus tech openings like Widow Mine drops and stuff. I don't know if it's good versus 3 racks though, right? I think this might just backfire. Like, this is one where, okay, if you get in there just before like Stim's done, and there's 30 seconds, or only 30 seconds, you could do it. You could also just kill a lot of SCVs and then like expand behind this, right? But I'm a little worried. Scans going down. Aleph Naught's like, why didn't you have a third? It's 5 minutes. Sees a few extra gateways. Doesn't really see a big tell. Oh, is already building so many units. I think Aleph Naught, as long as the bio sticks in a nice ball, should be okay. Zealots warping into the main base. Out of vision. Doesn't see it until now. And that is 6 Zealots in the main base. And already some damage starting to pile up for SCVs. But the bio comes forward. And Barcode, good pullback. Yeah, Barcode's got to, I think you got to transition out of this.
Oh, the Zealots are actually engaging here. That's going to overextend. Going to lose those Zealots. The next warp in, I'm not super hopeful for this one.
Oh, that's a crazy warp in. Okay, good cancel.
Yeah.
I was like, you almost, I was going to say, you almost want to lose the Prism before the warp in finishes there, just so it gets cancelled, right? Because they're not going to do anything. 7 SCVs is not terrible. The probe moves out to take the third. This is one of those attacks, though. I think if the third was already building during that, you chrono probes right now, you make a Templar Archives and a Forge, it's like actually not bad, right? Because you just slow down the Terran economy, and that third command center ends up just getting pushed behind. It's already slow with the 3 racks. You kill a bunch of SCVs, you distract them a bit, waste some mining time. It ends up being even more delayed. And you know what? There are some flow-on effects. Look at this. Oversaturated natural has to get fixed up. SCVs going back to the main for Alifnort, who's a bit undersaturated in the main. And I think it's actually a very playable situation, but it's just one where we're going to see the Protoss army falls off the longer it goes, right? With no Forge, no splash damage. It's like Immortals, Zealots, good units. If you flank, you get a good surround, you engage them early. The longer the game goes, the more things like Ghosts join the fray, the more trouble the Protoss player is going to be in.
Well, and the plus side here for Barcode is that Alifnort, I think, wanted to hit across the map with +1 here, as most Terrans do. And what the Terran, usually at this point, you got a much bigger army and you try and capitalize on that fact in TVP, which is very, very common for this to be the case. There's no blink, there is charge, but there's also like, a bit of a delayed third base of Barcode, and Alifnort's attack is not happening. So, and also, like you mentioned, we had a mismanagement of the economy. We just had a big supply block there for Alifnort as well on 94. So the charge lots kind of did indirect damage as well as damage. You know, they caused Alifnort to miss a few beats in that macro, miss a few beats in the build, sort of make a decision on the fly, like try and go for crisis management, which sometimes means things get missed. And meanwhile, that natural is going to be hit again by charge lots here.
Oh, big Zealot run by straight into the mineral line, going to do some big damage. There's no sentries at home. That's a giant bio ball coming across, though. So, of course, even with 2 shield batteries, it's going to be a very difficult hold at home. But doing this economic damage, there's a huge economy advantage now for Barcode. If Barcode holds this push, Barcode is good. It's not many Zealots, though, and even with Overcharge, like we said, that's just too much firepower. The units disappear. Overcharge, ooh, yeah, look at that. It doesn't even help the Immortals. They just disappear against that much bio. Has Alifnort secured the production? Yeah. As long as Alifnort holds it home, and that bio army should really be... No, don't go home, Alifnort! You gotta go back in! This is where you kill the third and win the game!
Oh no, he absolutely could have done that, Pig, but I think that might have, he's just freaking out a little bit. He's like, these charge loss have done so much damage, you need to go home and recover. But no, when you lose that much economy, your best chance is to go across and hit back. And yes, he's killed a bunch of gateway units, he's killed the Immortals, but that was the moment. Once the Immortals are dead, that's your moment. It's only a couple gateway units. Alifnort making a bit of a miscall there. And as a result, the game continues. He's got medevacs now. I really want him to move across again with these medevacs. Disruptors are starting to get made here for Barcode. And the more disruptors that come out, it doesn't matter if you're down, 10, 15, 20 army supply. If your disruptor novas connect, you can still take a really good fight.
Dude, I mean, Barcode here is like, wait. My third's still alive? I'm still up 20 workers? How did that happen? It's like, whoa. And the thing is, I think it wouldn't be too terrible if Alifnort pulled SCVs here, but now Alifnort's going for a third command center and stuff. The army is the same size as it was 2 minutes ago, but you've given 2 minutes of Barcode to just rebuild that army with that big economy lead. And now Alifnort needs to get the heck out of there. I think Alifnort at this point needs to play a much slower game and goes back to Alifnort's set play, which is, of course, the 1-2 punch. Now, I really want to see Alifnort go deeper. In the past, Alifnort's super conservative with this drop. Now, the reason I don't like that in this scenario is what defense is there? What is there for this drop? There's literally nothing.
It's all at the third base. All of it. Like, the main is wide open, natural's wide open. You're absolutely right.
And the thing is, he scans
as well.
Ooh, the Stalker Warping is there for the next one, though. So it is going to go down. He can take out a few of these Stalkers, though. Stims, 1 Stalker goes down. Can he get at least 2 or 3? It'd be pretty good if he does.
Doom drop for the main.
Oh, that's a
Alifnort's queued up 3 SCVs here, 3 medevacs. God, I'm like,
there's no energy. Can't recall in the main. No energy.
Target fire.
Yeah, click on it. He clicked on it, saw what it was. I actually saw him select it. He was like, oh, that's a Dark Shrine. Nuh-uh. So he left-clicked it before right-clicked it. And look at that.
Drop from Alifnort.
Oh, dude, Alifnort. We thought he missed an opportunity, but then he goes into multi-prong mode. Oh, pick up! Get out, get out, get out, get out. The Stalkers are here. He's got to leave now. He's got to leave. Put it back in your pants. Just tuck it away, waistband it, and go home. This is a good situation now. The third command center is finished. You've got 2-2 starting behind us. Alifnort, what sort of player are you? I've seen top GMs who don't remember their upgrades ever. You're microing a triple drop, and you remember your 2-2 while floating your third down. What is going on?
This is a man that hotkeys these engineering bays. This is the kind of Terran you take home to meet your parents when you're when you start dating them. This one's a keeper. Aleph Naught's a keeper. If he's in Masters right now, I think that if he keeps playing like this, he's going to be a Grandmaster in no time. I feel like a couple more weeks, couple good ladder sessions. I can see it happening.
It's a really good setup, you can see, because his main army is on number 3. His other army, his triple drop is on 5, but he keeps pushing that in and out to distract. And his main army is going to try and lure Barcode out of position and open up an opportunity for that drop. The drop is going to boost in on this base. YOLO Jenkins goes in, stims in from both sides. Marines, Marauders. Oh, a big disruptor lands, though. Well done by Barcode.
And the charge loss are cleaning up that triple drop on the right side. So the mineral line's about to be clear of Terran. And that left side, thanks to the disruptor, does get thinned out. So 4 probes go down. But I feel like if Aleph Naught was dropping somewhere else while attacking on the ground there, he would have gotten a lot more damage.
It was one of those maneuvers. That is such a ballsy play. And it could have paid off in a big way. But it turns out, you know what? Ballsy play gets countered by one big ball to the face, apparently. That disruptor shot was huge.
No. And Aleph Naught's been really on top of his upgrades and stuff, but he's still only got 3 barracks of production. The 4th and 5th is on the way now, so his production isn't where you want it to be at the moment for their Terran.
Yeah, and he's loading up 2 drops and he's flying them through Blink Stalkers. No, not like this. He could hold on if he had those at home, but Barcode says, ooh, Christmas came early this game. Oh, no.
Thank you, Aleph Naught. My favorite, full medevacs. How did you know?
Oh, not through the middle of the map, not like that. And this is, remember, Aleph Naught had a chance early to kill the 3rd, but unfortunately was distracted by this airdrop and big balls to finish it off with a GG goes down.
Oh, denied. I'm blue balling here. I want to see that blast nova.
Oh, actually, you can kind of see one of them detonated as the game ended. Okay. There's literally marauders that they're about to pop out of their suits. It's like, you know, when you're cracking a lobster, you're like cracking some crab, and there's like bits of meat and juices flying out of like the shell. It's a little bit like that.
Get a little bit in your eye, a little bit of that butter sauce flicks up into your eyeball, up your nose. Not that that's ever happened to me because I'm perfect, obviously. But
what was his name? What was Homer's lobster called? Nippy or something? What was his
Pinchy.
Pinchy, that's it.
Yeah, Pinchy the lobster. That he cried while eating.
Yes, it's just tears running down. It's so delicious though. Oh, and I think he would have wanted to be eaten, to be honest. And I think those marauders definitely would not want to be blown up by a gigantic purification nova, which is still, I think, is the most hilarious name. They're like, hello, Terran, eat your Tide Pods. I'm like, are you serious? Purification nova? Oh, you guys are just harsh. That's some cruel shit.
Well, Pig, this final is actually down to this one map.
Yeah.
It is actually this map to decide it all. We're tied up, not only 3-3 in the outside score for the other divisions, but for the Masters League best of 3, we've got a tied up 1 apiece. One more map to decide it all. In the bottom left here, for the final time, for the final, it is ScSwarm's Aleph Naught.
And up here in the top right, the red Protoss Validity Gaming's Barcode. And you know what? Barcode there pulling himself out of a very hard situation in that previous game. But definitely one we're going to have to see what happens in the final one. I think a big weakness of Barcode, ability to defend the multi-prong, the longer the game goes, really does feel like it's Aleph Naught focused and in his favor. But at the same time, this 2 barracks opening, I do feel is a bit vulnerable. I do feel that... So for me... if I was playing against, I'm kind of thinking like maybe like a Colossus timing attack with 2 Colossus and just some sentries would be like impossible for Aleph Naught to hold on against. Maybe with some mass repair on some bunkers to buy time. I also feel like it's just the same opening. You could actually be really greedy and go like maybe even a Nexus first and get away with it. Barcode, of course, is just used to that core first, checking with the probe. And the thing is, final game, are you really going to just assume it's the same opening? No. You're going to play safe here. So you're going to get that core first before the Nexus. And I think Barcode here, you don't want to attack with the sort of timing that would happen in game 1. I think a 3-base Charge Zealot timing, Charge Zealot Archon can be great. But 2-base is just not going to work against a 3 barracks. I think 2 or 3 barracks opening, vulnerable to very early proxy gateway cheese potentially, really early proxy Void Ray or proxy Robo, but it's either the really fast one before the 3 barracks production kicks in, or it's later as they're kind of going towards a 3rd base and a 4th and 5th barracks, you know, catch them at maybe the 7-minute mark, something like that.
And this is the part of the build order for Aleph Naught where I kind of wish you like cut 1 Marine just to get a bunker like right now. like right at this second. The probe coming up, just to make sure that if there was something aggressive from the Protoss, you will hold really easily. Like if this was, say, Stalkers first for Barcode rather than these two Adepts, I really feel like it can be annoying for this opening of Aleph North.
Well, I guess here on Pillars, it's not as bad though, right? This is the map where I can get behind it. All the other maps, I'm totally with you. Like Ice and Chrome, that wide open, rampless natural. I'm like, oh god, it's a nightmare. But here, I'm like, you know what? You got 7 Marines so early, like you're gonna destroy any early Adept that comes, or even a pair of Adepts, as long as you raise your wall. Speaking of which, Maynarde, I can't wait till we're playing the back seat in a little bit, and I can shout at you for having this depot raised the same way Aleph North does. I'm like, Maynarde, you're triggering me. Why are you making the units go around? Why?
Yeah. That's how you know that I've never played a PvP in my life. Well, actually, I have, but not in like a year.
The Adept gets in.
I mean, that Adept will go down, but it gets a scout off, sees the 3 racks.
Accidentally hits the barracks, then hits the command center. Oh no, Barco, those are not the things you want to attack. Hits the eBay as well. This Adept is playing tag every structure in the Terran's base. Hits the other barracks as well. This is amazing. Yeah. I've never seen an Adept. Terran. Oh my god, it's refusing to hit any SCVs or Marines. Back at home, 5 Marines versus 1 Adept. Oh no, this is such a good opening for Aleph North. Catches the Adept, kills the Adept on the other side. A Stalker's here, but these Marines are going to have a bit of fun. Just focus fire the probes, and yeah, free. Oh, this is such good damage. You don't care about these Marines at all. 2 probes, 3 probes, 4 probes, Barcodes and Trubs, man.
Yeah, I mean, it is the exact same opening as the last game. It's just the map has changed, and Aleph North didn't cancel his barracks just like he did in game 1, which was also the first time he did this build. So this clearly is the way he likes to play this matchup. Start splitting up the Marines, realizing that their time is up basically here. So just breaking off the Marine, going to park it at that 3rd base location. And would love to have that other Marine on the other 3rd location, but other than that, I really like the opening for Aleph North, taking very minimal damage. And that 3 racks, I mean, you're going to have plenty of production back at home. It's the power of 3 racks, baby, and it ain't all in. You're just going to have a lot of units. You can still, you can take a 3rd behind this. You got your double upgrade and your +1 attack, timing all going to line up together, and you just feel so solid as a Terran when you get to this point, when you live this long.
Yeah, man. And the second shield battery on the natural, Barco's looking scared. So I think if you're going Colossus already at this point, it's okay to turtle up on 2 base. But if you're just building Immortals and a Sentry and a Stalker, there's no Twilight. You're building shield batteries, you're sitting on 2 base. It feels like Barcode's tech is not evolving. Barcode's worried about what's coming next. That Marine is really throwing him off. Every other game up to this point, Barcode had charge. Already finished or almost finished at this point. Is now in this like, hey, how are you ever going to take a 3rd? As Barcode, in this scenario, I actually think his best play is to take a corner base, take a hidden expansion, because I don't think there's any way he defends a 3rd base against the incoming stim push in about 30, 40 seconds. So what are you going to do? You've got more gateways. You still don't have a Twilight Council. If Barcode just moves out and takes a standard 3rd, this one might just end with the first stim push.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, Barcode, similar to the Terran, has had his way to open up the game as well. We haven't seen charge really quickly from Barcode this time, so not quite the same as game 1. Yeah. And he is moving up that 3rd by looks of things. They're moving up that 3rd.
This is the worst play in this scenario. Yeah. As long as Aleph North commits to that same push, which... Oh, he's building a bunker and sitting at home, right? When he moved out in the previous games, he sees the 3rd. He should be moving out, absolutely, in response to seeing that 3rd base.
Yeah, cancels the bunker.
Yeah.
No move out, though.
His timing, though. I mean, does it matter, though? Because there's still no Twilight or Robo Bay or Templar Archives. Barcode has clearly forgotten charge. We're going to see Zealots start to warp in, and Barcode is just... The Twilight finally goes down. It's still like 3 minutes till charges in this game. That's 9 minutes in the game before there's anything other than unupgraded Stalker Sentries and Immortals. If you make a lot of Sentries here, you can do it with Force Fields, right? With the best Force Fields, you can always do it. But, oh, it's such a dicey situation. Behind economically, with an army that does not scale at all, up against a Terran army that is growing. Medivacs joining, +1 armor on the way. The 3 barracks continuing to pound out units. Stim, shields, concussive. Aleph North's position is absolutely monstrous. And it's just a matter of when does that 3rd command center go down, because that's going to cement his lead in the macro game.
I really do wish Aleph North was pushing, like you mentioned. It's one of those painful things that you look at the replay and it all becomes clear to you as Aleph North what you should have done. But hindsight's 2020, etc. And obviously we have full God mode map vision here as casters. So it looks like charge actually is going to happen in this game. And a Templar Archives is going down. There is a move out here from Aleph North. Looks like he was maybe getting to try and get closer to marrying this up with the Medivacs, but they're still a little ways away, those Medivacs. Oh, no, there's one. Here we go. There's
2 Medivacs coming, actually. Yeah, they're kind of split up. They'll both join up by the time the push gets there, but he's taking the long way around. Aleph North's really dilly-dallying, and that charge is being chronoed because Barcode knows his life depends on, as I said, he chronos probes. Barcode Barcode has no map vision whatsoever. He's sending it. I think he might. I mean, he should really just die to this. Alephnort, though, is playing it so slow and careful. Oh, he's going to try and... Oh, no. Goodbye, Templar Archives. Well, it's a slow, careful attack, but it's going to do massive damage. Templar Archives, gateways, all being depowered. Sorry, what was that about charge being your lifeline? Well, it's not even able to upgrade. Barcode is in a terrible situation right now. I think Alephnort here just power overwhelming with the macro. That's too much bio.
What is this stim? Alephnort just stimmed his whole army to the 3 o'clock?
The army was kind of coming forward, so I think maybe he caught a glimpse of the Stalkers and the Sentries, and he thought he was going to get surrounded by force fields in that little nook up against the minerals, right? Don't want to get trapped there, so he's playing it safe. You can see that this is Alephnort is playing the final game of a Grand Finals, Maynard, right? There is that trepidation where he's like, I don't want to throw it, I don't want to throw it. But he's actually hitting everything that is going to ensure his victory. He's got the 3rd CC, the 2nd eBay, the Armory, these things that have done so well, but... Oh my god, that charge is still not going. Oh my lord. This is so nasty. This army for Barcode is just not evolving. This 1/4 of Alephnort's army could probably win the game. The double drop in the main is unstoppable. Whole army gets recalled. That army should be able to stim it on the 3rd and get a free kill there. And Alephnort, get out, get out, get out. Yeah, there's no blink. Easy escape. Oh, he's got all the mobility in the world. Alephnort is just waltzing his way around Pillars of Gold. He says, this map is mine, bitch.
Pillars of Gold for ScSwarm is what he's looking for. Probes are dead. 3rd base, if he clicks on that, that's also going the way of the dodo. Goodbye. It's extinct. And oh my god, Barcode just getting torn apart by the multitasking of Alephnort again. There were a few weird decisions from both players in this game, and Alephnort is up 70 supply here and change. Double upgrades as well. He could really kick in a 2-2 at the same time and just really solidify that lead, but it looks like it's getting the bag. A High Templar going down. Those Archons may not see the light of day. They get target fired. They can't get loaded into the prism until they're done.
He so consistently saves his harassment. This is so impressive. I just Alephnort, it's always main army postures, threatens, drop goes in. They respond to drop, main army goes back in. Commits, they respond to main army, drop goes back in. Drop's been in there for a while, pick up, leave, just as the defense gets there, disengage main army goes. It's just this like push and pull on both sides of the map. And we've talked about how Barcode really wants to keep the army all in one ball. It has a bit of the F2A syndrome there of always wanting to keep the army in one big group. And you know what? That works really well if the Terran gives you one big fight. But Alephnort is like, no, I'm always going to attack on the extreme ends, try defending 2 places at once.
Speaking of extreme ends, while he's dropping, he's making 6 turrets back at home. He's like, what can kill me here? A Prism with charge lots? Let's make sure that doesn't happen. Dark Templar? Absolutely not. They're not going to let that happen. Well, turrets, getting a Ghost Academy, trying to dot all his I's and cross his T's.
A Disruptor did kill 10 Marines in the main. Disruptors are the comeback unit. There's a 4th base on the way. There's only 30 probes, though. No DT Shrine. I mean, DTs and Disruptors, the dream is always there. There's a whole bunch of High Templar. They have Storm energy, but they don't have Storm. Uh-oh.
Yeah, so the feedback's coming on down, and I mean, that's a nice ability, but it ain't very good at dealing with a big ball of bio.
Oh my god.
There's that Archon morphed in here. Alephnort is going to tear this last army of Barcode apart. And that is going to be it.
Bio. Power overwhelming. The macro was so solid. He was building this well-rounded bio army. Yes, did he miss a timing early on where he maybe could have killed? Yeah, but does it matter? No, because he was building this solid army of bio en masse, adding upgrades, adding ghosts, adding a 4th command center behind this. His macro does not miss a beat. He's been inspired by the Clems, the Hero Marines, the absolute monsters of this world. And I think Alephnort, you know, remember he almost won map 2 as well and then pulled back because of the Warp Prism distracting him. It would have been really sad, I think, if Alephnort managed to drop down there. But we saw Alephnort apparently improve pretty much the most out of anyone in this league during the season. Just kept getting better and better, and we saw it in this series. Absolutely dominant final game. And closes out the Grand Finals. We got literally as many maps before deciding it as we possibly ever could. That is a 4-3 victory. It was a best of 7, best of 3 to decide the final 7th match there. 2-1 victory for Alephnort, and that gives them the 4-3 overall scoreline. And that is the victory for ScSwarm, who I think, did they play one Zerg player? The whole...
Nigel the Zerg, I think.
Oh, actually, and Pro Border at the very start as well against Cadet Show.
Correct.
So there was That's 2 Zergs. Okay, not too bad then. They're not completely gone away from their roots. Not completely.
And I mean, one of the things we're seeing here for Alephnort is that the favorite part about ScSwarm is that there are high-level coaches that help during important matches, and no doubt people that will help you outside of your important matches as well. I saw people coming into the chat going, yeah, you know, I can enter if I'm platinum, but I'm silver. Like I'm nowhere near platinum. I'm like, well, you know what? you could rank up pretty fast by joining the team anyway, because there are a bunch of people there that will help you. That's what I'm trying to say there. Like, you join a Chobo Team League or you join a team, you will be ready for that team league. And honestly, I think if enough people at that level played,
they will reopen it.
Opening up.
They would reopen it. So the thing is, they used to have gold, and sometimes silver players would play in it, and there was silver even before that. The reason these divisions closed is silver players kept getting ranked up. People, every time in the past, we were like, guys, if you think you're too low level, trust me, you're not. There was guys in chat from every clan like, we need gold players. They keep getting promoted to platinum. They're not like, they play for the first third of the season, then they get too far ahead, and they just can't do it anymore. Because they get promoted out of that tier, and then they've got people pushing into platinum, pushing into diamond, and so on. So if you guys are bronze or silver, get involved in these teams, enjoy the community, and you'll find that some of these clans have bigger scenes around your rankings than others, right? So shop around a little bit if you want. You can join a clan like mine, Taste the Bacon, ! Discord if you want to talk to the clan managers there. But we've got so many people, and we'd love you all to advertise your clans again. Please post some more links to your clans, join them in, and just give us some info in chat, guys. If I'm like, oh, where should I go? I'd like to play. Let us know. Is there, or what if a few people is like, we want to make our own team? It's really simple. Just make a clan. And Crispy Bacon is the man you'd like to talk to there in the Twitch chat. Shoot him a message and go, hey, dude, I want to make my own team and enter it. We've got a few friends who play in my office or whatever. Hells yeah, get on it and see if you can do it. So I think that would be absolutely amazing.
Yeah, there's plenty of teams that start of just being like an in-college team of just a bunch of dudes that met during courses that just wanted to they just liked StarCraft and play it together. Like maybe they play team games together or whatever, and then they realize, oh, we've got a 6-stack here. That's enough people to start at least the lower divisions of Chobo Team League. Like maybe you got that hard carry Masters player for your 6-stack, and then they are going to be your ace, and then you've got your other divs covered, and all of a sudden you got yourself a team done and dusted. And you can just enter. You call it whatever you want. Make a really funny name. Make the casters chuckle every time we read it out. Yeah. Or just make it a really edgy, cool name. Like, I don't know, 12-foot ninja or something. I don't know. It's an edgy band name. They turn into an edgy team name. You can do whatever you like. Just play StarCraft, enjoy it together, improve together. Ladder doesn't need to be a lonely experience.